Oh, where's that now? There we are. I didn't think that was going to come on then. Good morning to you. It's Saturday the 18th of April 2015. A warm welcome along to today's United Kingdom Talk, boys and girls. My name's Chris Reardon. And today we've got a part 2 of some of your memories and fond memories, I hope, of the Black Cap in Camden and some other bits about gay life in London as it was then and indeed as it is now. I've already recorded some interviews today with two very high profile scene celebrities. One of Kelly Wilde, Australian superstar megastar singer Gloria, yes, that's a famous one, and Sandra London, who is really one of the top British London drag queens. She started at the Black Cap. She's got a pre-recorded interview with me a little bit later on. I've got actually 4 people that I've already recorded. We've got Nathan Rayo come on to have a little chat with us. He is one of the writers of the Daily Express newspaper. When you see the front page, you know, when you see the terrible disastrous weather stories that are about to occur, and indeed the good ones as well, you know, like the barbecue summers and all that, well, that's all written by a little friend of mine called Nathan Rayo, who was a regular customer at the Black Cap. And also chatting this morning to Justin Peacock, and Justin runs a pub in Hertfordshire. He'll be coming on and has been recorded for a little bit of a chat later on as well. You can also call in if you want at any time with your memories of the Black Cap. All right, the number and everything will be coming up on the screen shortly for you, and I'll tell you what it is as well. Meantime, to start off this morning, we're going to try, and this might not happen straight away because I don't know how busy he is this morning, and call the manager of the Black Cap, one of the very long managers of the Black Cap, called
Hello.
Mr. Jimmy Smith. Good morning, Jimmy.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Reardon, the oldest DJ in London. How are you?
I'm not quite. I don't think I'm quite the oldest. I think that's fact only. I
must be the oldest manager, so
well,
I'm running about.
yes.
Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm running about, getting ready to go down to the Black Cat in a minute. So I'm like,
Do you know what? When you say you're the oldest manager, there's not an awful lot that we agree on, Jimmy. But in this instance,
very dare you, Mr. Reardon.
So this is Jimmy Smith. He was the longest serving manager at the Black Cap and went back twice. Well, do you remember how long have we known each other now?
25 years it will be this year on, I think it's the 6th of July I took over the Cap. 25 years ago on the 6th of July.
It just seems so much...
24 or 25, I need to check.
It just seems so much longer than that, Jimmy, doesn't it?
Oh, does it really?
Do you remember when you started there? What year would that be?
God, I do remember. It must have been 89... it must have been 89 then. 89,
late 89?
It was 20. It must be 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And before that, many years before that, I had the King William in Hampstead.
That was another gay pub in London, was it?
That was the gay pub, yeah, that was many years ago. And I always looked up to the Black Cat because it was like, it had the cream of the crop. There was the Black Cat, Vauxhall Tavern, like Earl's Court. How many bars were there in Earl's Court?
Oh, an awful lot, yeah.
It's no longer around. You can't even, if you look now from, 20 years ago, how many bars, there was many more bars 20 years ago than there is now.
Yes. I remember the one in Earl's Court I used to work at. That was another place I got sacked from.
Oh, God. You got too old.
Oh, that was completely... I don't know what they did there, but that was completely ruined. It only lasted a couple of years, didn't it, once they took over?
Yes. What was it? Was it Harpo? What was it?
It was Harpo's. There were two
Harpo's,
places in
yeah.
Earl's Court. The upstairs part was called Harpo's, and the downstairs part was called Coper's, and one was a bar, and one was a club. A little bit like the Two Brewers where you are now. You know, you've got the front part, which is a bar, and the back part that's a club. Well, similarly in Harpo's, you had the upstairs, which was a bar, and the downstairs, which was a club. And indeed, like the Two Brewers and the Black Cap in those days, was open open 7 nights a week. You know, we had enough people.
And they were very busy 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday night at the Black Cat in the old days, if you got 60, 70 people in, you thought you had a bad night.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what did we used to do on Wednesdays? Was that amateur? No. Was it amateur?
No, amateur night. Amateur night started with Regina many years ago. Tuesday. That's a Regina Phones night took off was amateur night.
Yeah.
Way back with Rosemary and, oh God.
Rosemary, yes. And Kelly Marie. Do you remember Kelly Marie?
That's a singer, isn't she?
Yeah. Your head is in a spin, that one, yeah.
Kelly Marie, yeah.
She was always pregnant, wasn't she? She kept having babies.
Yeah, loads of children. And
do you remember who was actually there when you started?
Oh my God, that's so long ago. It was. I remember I took after. Was it Chris? I took over after.
Yes.
And me and Pip came as my assistant manager.
I remember you used to wear these. You used to have these tight white jeans on all the time.
Yeah, I was much slimmer then. I got away with it then. So yes, it was. That was a time. Cabaret was huge then, massive. There was cabaret on 7 days, literally 7 days a week. We had cabaret, and it was like. Tuesday night, as you know, it was like 1 in, 1 out with the Regina.
That's
Wednesday nights, every night was an amazing night. The only quiet night we had, and I remember we were doing karaoke on a Monday night.
That's right, yes.
We decided we had to ditch the karaoke at that time. And then, I don't know what you did, but it was like you said, I listened to the show the other day, it was like one bank holiday Monday, it just took off, and it just went... It was amazing for years.
That is exactly what happened. It just happened to be a bank holiday.
It was so strong. I remember one night. Do you remember when we had the power cut?
Yes, I do. Yes.
We had the power cut. There was no lights on and we didn't close.
I do remember the power cut. Well, I mean, you needed to keep that money coming in, Jimmy. We did not close. We still served by candlelight. And everyone stayed. Everybody stayed.
We didn't lose no one. And everybody was singing to themselves. And
I remember.
It was quite an amazing night, yes.
Yes, I remember it well. What did you just put the money in a drawer or something? How did that work? Because you didn't have any tills, did you?
Well, I had all the staff on. I just had one member of staff taking the money off them and putting the till in the end. Yeah, there was no... And it was all night. The whole thing. Then we opened at 2 in the morning.
Yes.
And yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But they were. That's when it was like a family. People knew everybody. People come in because it was a safe haven. Definitely.
Yeah. Did when you first got there to the Black Cat 89, 90, did anyone in particular make you feel really welcome there?
Oh God, everybody. I used to be scared of Regina. Are you allowed to swear in the show? No. I won't tell you.
Do you know that the only person who really swore on the show the other day was Ronnie, my best mate. And I said, shut up.
Oh, God.
It just slipped out naturally with him. Go on.
And it was like, when you think, Titty the Cam, oh, God, I can't say enough about that person. Over the years, has helped me out so much. The same as many other acts. I can name Sandra. Oh, loads. You could roll them off.
You were there, but many of them. You were there before Titty, weren't you? You were there the night she won the.
It's me that got Titty. It's me that got Titty to enter the talent competition, and she wasn't going to do it. And I said, "You've got to do it," and she won.
What was that?
You knew then that she.
What was that called then? That wasn't Drag Idol then. That was the. That the amateur?
It wasn't No, it wasn't Star Search. It was something else.
It wasn't Amateur Talent Show, was it? I don't think it was the Amateur Talent Show. We changed it by then.
It was either Star Search 1 or these Star Searches went on for about 10 years.
Yes.
So I'm not sure.
Who hosted it? Do you remember that? Was it?
Oh, God.
Don't remember. Okay.
I don't remember. It's so long ago. It's so long ago.
I don't remember. I know.
And,
I know David Rosen did it for a while, but I don't think he was doing it then.
No,
can't remember. It doesn't matter anyway. So those people made you feel especially welcome. And what about Sammy? Now, Sammy, let me tell you, boys and girls, is
I was just talking to Sammy.
Oh, were you really?
Talking to Sammy actually 2 minutes ago on the phone.
He used to sit at the end of the bar, day in, day out, didn't he?
Pint of bitter and moan continually.
Yeah.
Moan continually.
Did he make you feel welcome, though?
No, we loved Sammy because every time it was busy, he used to get to come behind the bar and do the glasses for us all the time. And I remember he was like buy free glass crates, so I used to give him a couple of pints of beer. And he was happy, and I was happy.
I expect you were.
Yes, I was.
And Sammy was there when I started, and he never seemed to move from the end of that bar. And you became good friends with him afterwards, didn't you? After you left.
Yes, he was. Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so. Yeah, and still am friends with Sammy. We still meet up now and again.
Yeah. Do you have some other?
As I'm friends with lots of people from the Cap. All my friends, and I'm still friends with the Cap. So.
Yeah, good.
I keep cutting in and out there. I keep losing your signal. I keep cutting in and out. So
is that you moving around? Because you keep going a little bit quiet sometimes as well. Never mind. We'll keep going. Going. Big events that you've held there, and perhaps what sort of big events have you done there when you were there?
Oh, the biggest one had to be. Do you remember when Regina dies?
Yes.
And we had we had Lily Savage, and afterwards we had you name it, every cabaret act on the circuit. From you would have to help me with the names, but there was a Drella there.
Yes.
There was God, what's the guy? Oh, there were so many. There were so many acts in the scene that night.
I remember.
Roy Powell from the Disappointed Sisters.
Yeah.
He turned up that night. Titty, Nicky Vixen, Millie Turner.
Were you involved?
I remember Trindy. Trindy had a lot of big parts to do with the Cap as well for many years.
Yeah. Were you involved much in Regina Fong? Of course, was our biggest name there for many, many years until she died in 2000 and was it 2003?
2003, yeah.
2003.
That's when I came back to the Cap, 2003.
And I went to the funeral along with yourself and that. And it was a lovely thing. Were you involved in at all of the setup of the funeral, or was that?
It was incredible. Titty got very much involved.
Yes.
Titty helped the family put it together.
Yes.
Mr. Moore did. I don't want to miss anybody out, but there was a whole family. Nicky Vixen. There was a big crowd, and Billy Turner.
Yeah.
We all helped. We all put together and helped. And there was oh God, my brain.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, so lots of people.
After the show, I'll remember all these names. Is it Father? Yeah. What's his name? Father Bernard.
Who was that?
He was very involved. Father Bernard, that involved with.
Oh, the priest on the vicar or priest. I'm not quite sure what it was.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But you did. You worked with some.
What? It was an amazing day.
Yes, indeed.
And they remembered their life. It wasn't a sad day. Everybody just remembered their life.
Not at all.
And promised to keep it going. And every year on our birthday, we always had a night to remember Regina.
Yeah.
And today, I'm sure it's going to be remembered a lot today.
Yeah.
Down in Camden town.
Well, I know someone's got some music. They got hold of some music that someone must have sent them. And they're going to play it because there's a bit of a protest going on outside the Black Cap this afternoon. I think 1 o'clock, isn't it?
I think it's 1 o'clock. I'm just going to go down and have a look for myself.
You're going along to that?
Which I'm going to have to cut off soon because if I don't get there, I'm going to miss it. It's now 12:15.
Oh, well, just another couple of tiny little minutes. Because you've had some big names on there, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Who did you have on at the Black Cap?
Cleary. Well, you can help me name them off. You've got a better memory. You're younger than me.
Well, yeah, but about 4 years. Do you know what image has never left my brain? I've got to tell you this. You're about to be embarrassed. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It was a Monday night, I think, and I always used to come up because you lived above the flat, didn't you? Do you remember living above your flat? Sorry, above the pub, rather.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Reardon?
Wait for this. And I walked into your room, and I think you'd been having a little bit of a sleep. And Peter was in there, who's sadly no longer with us as well. And you had your pants on, and then you had the audacity to say, "I can't believe it, my pants have shrunk." Well, I hate to tell you.
Oh, get lost.
Yes, you did. You said, I think my pants have shrunk. And I'm like, they haven't shrunk. You've just been eating too much.
I've never stopped. Never stopped.
But it was always
and do you remember Joe Purvis? Do you remember Joe Purvis? Was it
Tea dance, Joe Purvis.
They did a tea dance and we all got dressed up, and it was just absolutely amazing time. Everybody got involved. It was like, as you said, it was a family. And the same every time we had a refit, anytime we had a paintwork, even when we put the Tong Terrace in.
Yeah.
We had a group of people, we had a group of customers, a group of acts, DJs.
You managed, while you were there, you managed to get quite a lot of money out of the company to do these wonderful refits that they had there. Spending what was the biggest refit? Was it £1 million?
Yes, I think that's when they put the roof terrace in.
Was £1 million? We had a roof terrace. Oh, it was just wonderful. But the only thing is, they never seemed to find out, because we had a leak there, didn't we? And they never got to the bottom of that leak.
Toilets. I remember it emptied on my head once. That was the worst bit of my life.
I always remember
there
once.
Was a plumber. It was in the club bar, and the plumber undid it was leaking. The plumber undid the drain thing, whatever it is, drain thing. And oh my God, all this crap come flying down. I was holding the ladder.
Oh no!
He was at the top of it, and I was at the bottom of it. Oh my God, we were both in the toilet being sick.
Oh my God! Was it wastewater? Was it?
I'm not going to say. But it was terrible.
Oh, well, you had Bucks Fizz there. I remember that, and that was really
the Supremes, the Beverly Sisters.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bucks Fizz was the first one, and it was like the first, shall we say, in my mind, superstars that I'd ever worked with. And I never told you, I was terrified. But do you know what? They came in, and I think it was Mike Nolan, but it was the guy from Dollar, David. David was one of the people of Bucks Fizz at that point, wasn't he?
Mike Nolan, but
the other guy was from
David
Dollar.
Vans.
He was from Dollar, wasn't it? Hang on, I can find that.
You're more up with the music than me.
Dollar, David, Artist.
Van something?
Yeah, that sounds right. David Van...
That's right. Something.
David, yeah. David Van Day, that's it. David Van Day, and there were the girls, and he came in, and I says, all right, I said, I'm afraid it's not the Albert Hall, but I do my best with the sound. And he says, hello, mate, not to worry about anything at all. We'll take care of the sounds if you could just flash the lights for us. And that was it. They were so nice. So nice. So nice. They really were. And do you know what? It seemed to me that the bigger the stars were, or the bigger the drag queen was, or the bigger the singer it was, the nicer they were. There were a couple, no names mentioned, who were nobody, who were really awful to work with. I mean, really awful.
Well, we still get that now, don't we?
No,
we still get that day. That
no, I don't get it at all anymore. But then again, I think I'm working with everyone who's very well known now. You know, there isn't anyone new. But there was a couple there that were just kind of starting out, and they were just horrible people. You know, I want this and I want that, stamping feet like that. You know, as if you know you didn't know what to do. But the people that had made it, which must be everyone that I work with now, in my mind, has made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all very nice, and it seemed like that. Other people, of course, we had the Supremes, as you just mentioned there. That was that was big to me. That was huge to be working with the Supremes, and I've got the poster somewhere.
Well, I wasn't. I had some very bad news that night, so I won't go into it. But I never saw the Supremes.
Yeah.
So I didn't work that day, but I wish I did. I heard a lot from them. I got a nice card from them when I came back to the pub and that. So that was.
I mean, that was lovely.
I'm trying to think.
And the lovely Beverly Sisters.
The Beverly Sisters, we had them a few times.
They were sweet. They were.
Yeah, I was always scared in case they fell off the stage because they're quite old and one of them couldn't see properly.
Yeah,
so
and
the stage was so high.
I remember they bought in their own bits for the lights. You know, the little coloured. You know, the stage lights. They've got colours in front of them, and they bought their own ones in lilac. They bought lilac coloured things. He said, "Could you put those in for us, Chris?" Yes, and that was just after my dad died. And one of them picked up on that, and she says, "Are you all right?" And so I told her, and this Beverly's sister, I can't remember which one, she sat me down and talked to me about it in what would be your living room. She was so nice, and they didn't even make any demands, did they? Just a pot of tea. That's all they asked for.
Yeah,
a pot of tea. Yeah. And of course you had Sonia there. Sonia.
Yeah, that's Sonia. I think Sonia's been there a couple of times.
Yeah, you're never
but that was
me.
Like the 80s and the 90s was, the cap's been, it's been iconic, you say, from the 60s.
Yeah.
All the way through. And you think of the names that's been there. I can think of Mark Fleming, Sandra Hush, Shufflewick.
They're all there.
Lee Paris, oh my God, Lee Paris.
He was a lovely man.
Nicest people I've ever met.
He was a lovely man. I mean, he really was. So easy to work with, and such a nice person. I remember the time you offered him a rise, didn't you? And he turned it down. He said, "No, it's not busy enough." He turned it down.
Yes, I remember that.
He said, "It's not busy."
I really did.
Yeah.
I don't offer much rises now, I'm afraid.
Now, with the Black Cat closing, and now they're talking about problems possibly with the Vauxhall Tavern. Do you see this is just how it's all going to go? I mean, I work in straight places now, Jimmy, and quite honestly, there are gay couples that go in there, boys or girls, and
I think it happens everywhere. I think it does happen everywhere. I don't know anything about the Vauxhall Tavern. You get lots of rumours. As far as I know, it's safe, and we just have to hope it is. So I don't know. But I think, the Vauxhall Tavern seems strong. They're putting strong cabaret on.
Yes.
They seem to be moving on with different acts and different things, and always something going on there. So, yeah, they seem quite strong. So
there's an awful lot of rumours going on around the Black Cap at the moment. The latest one I've heard is that it's been split in two. I don't know if you've heard that one.
The thing is, I think it's all rumours until you actually hear when you hear. I think it will come out, but I don't know. I'm in the dark as everybody else is, so I don't know.
Right. Do you think the two brewers
is
quite...
I don't.
Is the two brewers safe?
Yes, of course it is. Of course it is.
Have we still got that one then?
Yeah, we've still got that one. So.
Well, an absolute pleasure in talking to you, Jimmy.
I know, and I'm sorry I've been cutting in and out. I've been losing bits of you, but it's been coming in and out. I have to keep moving the window.
Well, we heard you perfectly. We could hear you almost perfectly, so don't worry about that too much.
Okay, and good day, and I'll see you next Thursday, Mr. Reardon.
And what venue are you running? What are you running at the moment? Tell us where it is.
Just the Two Brewers in Clapham High Street.
Any big events coming up there soon?
Oh God, I've got Ben Cohen coming up. I've got
Who's he?
I've got Pan Am next Thursday.
He's the rugby player, isn't he?
Yeah, rugby player, and we've got Pan Am next Thursday. We do things like now. We do once a month on a Friday ball. Another month we do Rugger Cub, and that's the King's Cross Steelers host that.
You got Eurovision?
And the Tyson's host ball. Yes, we're doing 60 years of Eurovision with Titty the Camp and Mrs. Moore.
Yes,
coming up. So there's always something going on.
Are you playing the semi-finals as well on the Tuesday and the Thursday at the Two Brewers? The semi-finals of the Eurovision.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Lovely, good, because that's one of mine, isn't it? That Thursday. I should look forward to doing that then. Good.
Yeah, well, that's right, because you'll be on with Titty and Mrs. Moore. I think Titty's, that's always a fun week.
Yeah, great.
It's good to have, normally Titty's been doing it for the last couple of years, but now I've got Mrs. Moore as well, so it's good to have the original team back again, so, because they held it at the Black Cat for me for many years.
That's right, yeah. I did the first one there, the Eurovision thing. Were you
that's
there
right.
Then? Yeah, I did the first one. You just showed it on there, and I did a bit of camp commentating, so we say. Just before you go, is there any chance when Ben Cohen is there, the rugby player, could you put in a little good word for me there, or
I will try. I was going to put a word in for myself.
Jimmy, a pleasure to talk to you, darling, all right?
And you too.
And good luck this afternoon.
And,
say hello to everyone down there.
Go down, see a lot of friends, and see how it goes. Speak to you soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye now. Cheerio.
Bye.
There we are, Jimmy on the phone there, live from Clapham. He was the Black Caps manager. A lot of people only remember him, actually, as the only manager of the Black Cap. Everyone else has sort of come and gone in a couple of years. He was there a long time. He left. He came back again. He left, and he went back again. So, that's the man. That's the manager of the Black Cap. All right, boys and girls. If you'd like to call in on the show today, there is a Skype in number. You can either send your message over a Skype message if you want to. Okay, the Skype is United Kingdom Talk, all one word, United Kingdom Talk. Okay, you can also Skype in, as in make a sort of Skype call to me and talk to us live. The Skype in, once again, United Kingdom Talk. There's also a phone number as well if you want to call in at any point, 020 8144 3477. And I've just remembered if I've just fired up the right one on my phone here, because I'm going to be able to actually talk to you, I think, before I put you on air. If we have I got the right one in there? I'm not quite sure if I've got the right one in here. I'll let me do that. Sign out. Just a second. I'll have to log into that in a minute. So if you want to call in, you could do that on the Skype. Or there's also a local London number for you to call in, 020 8144 3477. Okay, 020 8144 3477. It's a very, very busy show today, gang. If it rings and rings and rings, it just means I'm on another call, I'm afraid, and I won't be able to get to you. We've got a lovely couple of emails coming up from Millie Turner. Millie Turner is another top cabaret artiste here in London, drag artiste. Okay, she's written a beautiful long email here for me to read out, and some other bits and pieces as well. The other thing, I spent about 5 hours yesterday getting people on the phone and doing some pre-recorded interviews. So I'm going to play you out some of those now. First of all, and you'll see a little picture of them coming up there. If I can just find them on here now. Where have I put those? 3, 2, there it is. There it is. So we've got 4 interviews coming up for you now, and you'll get a little picture of the person talking when they come up. Okay, there's a little picture of Jimmy. That's who we were just talking to there. All right, picture of Jimmy. Let me just write down 12:28. There we are. That's who we were just talking to, and we're now going to listen to the recording of the interview I did with Kelly Wilde. Now, Kelly Wilde is a top London cabaret artiste singer, all the way from Australia, and she's been here some years and done very well. And let's hear what we said to her yesterday. And recorded yesterday, I've got a phone call here, talking to Kelly Wilde, who is an internationally acclaimed, famous singer, all the way from Australia. Hello, Kelly.
Yes, it was a long swim, but I made it.
When did you...
Chris. We're talking about the Black Cap, aren't we?
Yes, we are indeed, and your memory's on it. What you got for us?
I tell you, I first remember the Black Cap, and a lot of people probably will. Back in the late 70s, probably even before my time, when you used to go through the front door, like they are now, the big doors, right? And you'd go in. That whole section was a bar.
That's right, yes, yeah, there was a front bar and a back bar. That's how it was when I went there first in 1989.
Oh, so it was there for a while, and we had to pay to go through the doors. Right?
Yes.
It was very exclusive. Kind of, you were screened, like you were exclusively allowed in there. It was very cloak and dagger.
You mean the second set of doors, not in the front door?
Yes, the second set of doors to get in there.
Yeah, so you would you'd come in the front door, and that was a bar. But to go in the cabaret room, you had to pay. Was it 50 pence?
Oh, it was something horrendous, like 50 pence. how time flew. The drinks were like a pound.
Are you still on that an hour, 50 pence? Is that right?
Oh. Oh, I tell you, the drag queens that were on, I came in, I was watching, I laughed, and people were so warm and friendly. It was like the days when they used to have Polare. You know, the chat that you could secretly give the look to each other to be sexy and this and that, which of course is kind of lost because it's so open now, which is also very good. But it was so much fun, and we watched these drag queens, my friends and I, who came over from Australia, and we were laughing, and I loved it from that very minute. Who's to know I was going to end up working there and being one of the very, very select artists that had their photograph prominently displayed on the main wall of fame.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, but my photograph was the only female singer, because I also did comedy in those days, and it was on the wall of fame, and it had Titi LaCap and Regina Fong, of course, Regina Fong, Shufflewick, Sandra and Lucia used to be up there. Oh, it was an incredible time, and it was an incredible bar. It was my local anyway, because I only live up the road from there. It's absolutely incredible.
Where did you live then?
I still do, just up North London. So I was just, like a couple of miles away.
Do you know, all those years I've known you, I've never known where you live.
Oh, there you go. Don't start on radio.
Don't start giving out.
Well.
Yeah, don't start giving out your address. You'll have strange men turning up. Incidentally,
depends on what kind of strange men they are.
Well, incidentally, my address is.
Yeah, quick, give it out on radio. Go on, Chris. You never know your luck in a big city. I've always said that. We had so much fun. I remember with Sandra, Regina was coming on stage on the Regina show.
Yeah.
And they had Sandra and Lucia in those days when Lucia was alive. She was on there, right?
Oh, Lucia's still alive.
Lucia did this running dive into the audience. Luckily, they caught her. She was surfing the crowd.
Kelly, you just said when Lucia was alive. She still is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is, isn't she?
No.
I'm sure she is.
Oh. Lucia, if you're out there, please call us. Make yourself known. Bless her heart. Well, I don't think so. But anyway, Sandra will probably correct me on that. I think she just gave up and went in another direction, like a lot of people do. You know, they decide it's not for them. Doesn't matter how good they are, as well. You know, they just decide that they don't want to do it anymore and go and do something else. I'm sure she's still alive. I'm sure she is, Lucia. Well, she'll get in touch very soon, darling. Either spiritually or physically. Spiritually. Anyway, she was so funny. Oh my God, she was funny. Her and Sandra, what a team. And I remember that they had Lucia had this massive big fur coat or something. And she took it off, and just as the audience were roaring because she soared over the top of the crowd and landed on people's shoulders. Lucky they had their heads left. It was hilarious. And Sandra picked up the coat, just singing, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. And at that point, Regina Fong came to the backstage, looked into the audience. I think you were DJing. Looked into the audience, right? And at that point, the fur coat got chucked to that extra. Straight in Regina's face. And she went, oh!
That's it. You've got the wrong one. That's Sade. You're talking about Sade.
Oh, Sade.
Sade, yeah. No, she did die. She went a few years ago. I actually went to the funeral in Brighton.
I beg your pardon. I stand corrected. Good God. Delete this from the show.
Yeah, it was Sade. She died, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I went to the funeral, which is in Brighton. And it was an unusual funeral, really. It had an open coffin. Right, on the altar. So if you wanted to, you didn't have to, but if you wanted to, at the end of the service, you could walk around the coffin and say whatever. And of course, her mum did this, and I walked around it, and said goodbye. And then when they put the lid on and buried Sade, as it was going down into the hole, a rainbow appeared. How lovely was that?
Oh, that is a joy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a joy. Yeah, Sade. It must have been Sade.
Yes.
It was funny.
Yes.
No,
yes.
But it was Sandra and Lucia doing that particular section.
Right, Sandra and Lucia.
Unless Sandra used to work with Sade. I think they might have done, actually.
That might be before me. See, I only remember Sade working with Regina Fong. and with a guy called a black guy. Now, what was his name?
Not Millie.
Paul Adams.
Millie
Paul
Turner?
Adams. Paul Adams and Sade.
Paul Adams and Sade.
Yes.
Well, you know, Paul Adams has gone on to being the backing singer and has done for years with Jimmy Somerville.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, didn't know that.
Sure, it's Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Yeah, he did a thing. So, were you always a singer, Kelly, or did you do other stuff as well?
I used to do, what we called it recently, terminized it as humorist.
Right.
I was doing comedy, and I was singing and doing not necessarily parodies, but fun songs, ad-libbing in the middle and having fun with the audience. And that's how I first started on the gay scene, and it was so fun. I mean, I'm thinking of putting some of those shows back together, but with up-to-date comedy.
Yeah,
that's just a new thing I'm going to be looking at. But we had fun in those days. We were a whole family, and it was a family of gay people. Not just the artists, but the audiences became family. It was really, you can tell by Regina's show, the audience came in and year out. It was a family. And I kind of missed that the family is breaking down slightly as it is in every scene or every part of life, actually.
Yes,
but
indeed.
I'm trying to maintain that we still have part of our family there, because I'm still very good friends with the artists and those who are still living, those who also used to work there that unfortunately we've not seen for a while would be Lee Paris.
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin did, oh gosh, he was great. Had this thing where he used to lift up the skirt and make it into a big round dress and everything, and they were all exclusive. I mean, there was a lot of guys I did shows with at the Cap that are unfortunately hilarious but no longer with us, and they were great times, and they're gone with the memory now. Hopefully we can still keep that alive.
They really are, yes. I mean, that period. I mean, I said on the last show that we did about the Black Cap on Wednesday night, I said, I think, everyone has their own period in a venue, if you see what I mean. Now, you could be there 30 years, but your period may only be a part of that. Now, I was there 89 to 2007, and I believe my period there was sort of 91 to 2002, if you see what
definitely.
I mean. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't we have a laugh?
Yes. Oh, my
You're
God,
a brilliant DJ, and that worked so well when you and I used to do gigs together.
I remember upsetting you once when I bought, and you didn't say anything until afterwards, and...
what did I do? Okay, what was it?
I said to you, please welcome, dressed this evening in a selection of bin bags, Kelly.
Oh God, was I wearing PVC? Yes,
Yeah,
I was.
you
That
were
would have been in the 80s.
But you
I've still got those pants. I didn't even go there.
you weren't very pleased with that, but we sorted it out, and that was all right.
Oh, that was funny.
But
The thing is with you,
of bin
bags. I probably had made such an effort, and I tell you.
Well, you do. You used to make such an effort. Like, I'm not saying that people who hand you a CD or in those time tapes, they would hand you a tape and that's the show. But you would have me into the dressing room and you would say, oh, I don't know about, what do you think about this one? You would discuss and sort the show there and then, rather than just handing a CD that perhaps you would do the same show everywhere you went. You were intent on getting the show right for that particular night always. I always remember that.
Well, you know what? You as the DJ, you know what audience is already out there. You know what you're playing to. So it would be, you know what to advise me. Well, they're not in the mood yet, Kelly, but if you put that one in, that will pick them up.
Yeah.
And we know it will. It's just that when you hear it from the DJ who's been, out there with the crowd for a good 2 to 3 hours before you've even got there, he knows how he's built the crowd up. You knew how you built that crowd up. So, you really have to go on the advice that you give. Yeah, it's going to be profound.
Yes, there was a couple of songs over the years that, not yourself, other people done, that they would be doing perhaps a very lively set. In your case, of course, Gloria, which is the one you're biggest. Gloria and Let Me Feel the Energy. What's that one?
Oh, that was
one?
brilliant. I still do it. Someone's asked me to pull it back into the show.
Yeah. So someone might be doing a set like that, not you, someone else, and then they'd put something in, and it's okay to do a ballad, but they'd put in a ballad that would pull the entire thing down. One song in particular that does that is a lovely song by Culture Club called Victims.
I don't know it.
Oh, it's really depressing, and it doesn't matter how well it's sung. I do feel that particular one brings the entire night down. If you see what I mean, and once it's gone down, it's difficult to bring it back up again. Sometimes. Yeah,
they've got to really know how to pull at the audience heartstrings and lift.
Yeah.
It's got to come from inside the artist. I know that because I've done a lot of nights where I was helping artists get registered. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But it's the artist needs to lift the crowd, take them on a journey.
Yes.
If everyone's had. Some people have had terrible days, and they don't want to come out and be pulled down and reminded of how bad their day was. Yeah. They want to come out and have a drink and forget all about their own life or, their troubles or their bills that are coming in. They want that artist to lift them and make them have fun or dance and forget. And that's your job.
And you've always
from your soul.
You've always done that.
Thank you.
I have never ever done a night where you failed. Never. You come on, it doesn't matter whether there's one person in there or 1,000. It can be, I can go in, not a very good night. Because we have good nights and we have gap. You can do I can play the same music in the same order on 2 different nights and get a completely different reaction.
Yes.
But you come on there, you come on the stage, and you're always running. When you come on that stage, you're always like 1,000 miles an hour. I'm here, you will listen, you will have a good time. And they do.
I want them to. They must. Life is like that.
And there's never been a night where you finished it and they haven't gone away. I've seen them not having a good time. Never.
I love that. Then I feel I've done what my job and I don't know, it feels like I've done it. It's not even just a job to me. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's what you live, it's what you breathe. You're brought up from the day one. That's what you're going to do. And you go into kicking and screaming and you think, hang on, I like this.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is good energy. It's all about giving good energy.
Yes. Did you ever have anything sort of go wrong at the Black Capitol or a particularly good night?
Did I plummet off that stage at any one given time? Oh, no.
Were you pushed?
This is hilarious.
Were you pushed?
This is hilarious. I was on stage and I had gone to America, to California.
Yeah.
And I come back with those, the drag queens are all wearing those really, really high shoes, about 8-inch heels with massive platforms, and they were like glass heels. They're really plastic, but I say glass because it sounds posh.
Yeah.
And I was very innovative to get those in California. And I had them on, and I'd leant forward on the top of the stage, because the Black Cap stage, for those who don't remember it, was quite high.
Yes,
it would have come up to your waistline if you were in the audience. When they built it quite high.
It went even higher than that recently, I think, didn't it?
Yes, it was like being in a stadium. I loved working there. I loved the venue. It was like working in a South. I was working in a stadium somewhere. It was fabulous. Anyway, so there was, the stage was high, and this bless her heart, this loving girl decided she wanted to get closer to me, so I stomped my foot down and leant towards her to get her to sing something, because she looked so lovingly at me, and she grabbed my foot. And she's aching me and pulling me closer to her so she could get to the microphone, because, she was quite short and fat and a bit dumpy. And bless her heart, I leant forward and I thought, she's going to pull me on top of her. She's going to pull me off this stage. And at that point, I used the microphone and went, doink, on his head, and went doink, reverberated around the club. The audience cracked up. I was mortified. The poor girl. I was like, oh, my God.
She just wanted to touch you, Kelly. Did you ever have any stalkers at all? Did you ever have a stalkers?
I've had stalkers, loads.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one. I won't say they're scary because I'll deal. You know, I will deal with it.
Yeah.
And woe betide them because I don't like things like that. It's not fair.
No.
And it's not right.
No.
And I like things that are brought up, like when my dad was like, you got to be old school, do honourable things, try and be the best you can be. And we can't always be perfect. We do let people down sometimes, you don't mean to. But you've got to do what you can, the best of your ability at every time.
Yeah.
And I had someone I thought I was just being really nice to. This is years ago. And she turned up on my doorstep. She'd followed me to my place.
Oh, my Lord.
And I've been trying to chivvy her away nicely, and in the end, nice didn't work. So I turned around and I said, right, come in, sit down. She came in thinking she was quids in here.
Yeah.
She said, but I love you. And I said, that's really sweet. Darling, even if I was, I fancied the pants off anybody else, it would never be you. It would never be you. And I have to be honest with you, you've got to respect that. It won't be you. And so you need to move on with your life.
Oh, my God.
You need to go and do something else and find someone else that's going to love you, that's going to care about you, because you're a lovely person. I gave her all this spiel. Then she stalked me to another club, and I had 2 gay female friends come with me, and we're very close. We're still very close to this day, and it was almost hilarious. This stalker threw herself on the ground saying, I know you want me. This is in the club. Actually, the club was in, where was the club? Windsor,
Windsor.
Castle. It was in Windsor.
Oh, no.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark, it's gone now. Yeah, it's gone.
And she threw herself on the ground. This is, again, a club that doesn't exist anymore. And she was, I love you, and I know you want me. And her legs were flailing around in the air. And one of the girls with me, quite butch, she said, all right, that's it then. That's it. Dragged this girl outside and threw her onto the pavement. Nicely. The bouncer said, you can't come back into the girl. And at that point, I think about 20 girls had descended on her and said, if you go anywhere near Kelly again, we'll kill you. That was the end I saw of her. I didn't see her again, thank God. It was pretty embarrassing, but, I have had that.
I don't know what I'd do. I really don't know what I'd do if someone turned up at the door like that. That's just
awful. The best thing I could do is try to be very, very nice and understanding.
Yeah.
She thought she was in love. I've still got people coming on Facebook. Why don't you talk to me?
Yeah.
Why don't you? I need you. I love you.
Really.
And this girl, she's so sweet.
So why don't I get any of this, Kelly? I don't understand.
Because you flash your body. They've already seen everything you've got. Being I keep it well covered these days, I've got to.
Oh, Kelly, I was going to ask you again. You got so close once to representing us for the Eurovision, didn't you? What was the song there?
Yes. And the first, I think it was the second performance I did, was at the Black Cap.
What was it called, the song?
You Better Be Good to Me.
And
it was, I think, we had it when we were back. Oh, that was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that was the best time.
And when was this?
My team were all gay, and when I performed in front of the Wogan and the TV crowd audience, this camera crew who were all gay were bashing on the glass above. Wogan was shocked. You could see it on his face. Oh, that's a good start to the show. People were bashing and cheering and singing, and what was the song?
What was the song called? You Better Be Good to Me?
You'd Better Be Good to Me.
And who actually won on that night? And what year was it?
The girl that went through, actually, I think between you and I, she was the daughter of the guy from the BBC, funnily enough.
Right, okay.
And we both had the same backing singer, and this backing singer does everybody's vocals. She's incredible. Miriam Stockley, the best singer in this country, as far as I was concerned. She could pitch anything perfectly, in any key, in any harmonic sound. She's incredible. Right. So she was doing Emma.
Yes.
Emma's backing vocals, and she was doing mine. And in the year that I did it, which was 1990, and I know it sounds like it's not very long ago,
No, it doesn't, and yet it is, isn't
it?
it?
A long time,
gosh.
But to put it into perspective, they were so afraid that I would go through to represent England because of my gay connection.
Right.
Now, there's going to be some people listening who are going to be horrified, but that's really just the way it was. They tried to out me on the Sun newspaper.
Right.
They went to all my record label. They said, "Is she gay?" And da 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 da. You know, it was really, really interesting. It was interesting. And when I look back, I think, yes, they had to choose Emma, even though she was Welsh. She might have improved. She never heard from her again.
Was that Give a Little Love Back to the World? Was it that one?
Give a Little Love Back.
Yes, okay.
Give a Little Love Back to the World.
Yes, okay.
Lovely song.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely song. She wasn't the greatest of singers, I have to say, but the year before, France had a young girl, 12-year-old or something, who went through.
Right, yes.
And
yes.
they sort of thought, well, if we go that route, we might end up getting some hits or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas if they'd stuck with me, one, we would have had a massive gay following. Because don't forget, it wasn't that popular.
Not at that time, no.
At that time.
No.
And we would have a massive gay following for a start. And secondly, I was doing a rock ballad. And the guy that won Eurovision that year was from Italy. And he sang a rock ballad. I would have given him a run for his money.
Yeah, you would have done.
But that's just the way life is. And I'm so blessed to have lived in that era, to have done that at that time, to have experienced the black cap, which is no more. And to experience everything that's to do with the gay scene. I love it. And you know I do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Kelly, wonderful to talk to you there on the phone, my darling.
Thank you, Chris.
And may we both have many more years doing our entertainment stuff.
We're going to have fun. We're going to go and just party like we normally do.
Cheerio, Kelly.
Love to everybody. Take care now.
Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye. There we are, boys and girls. Kelly Wilde there, speaking about singing at the Black Cap. Now, I've got a little problem in the studio at the moment. The video, for some reason, is stuck on Kelly's picture, and I can't move it. I don't know what's happened there. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to do this is to actually close that video part of the programme and reopen it. So for a second, those of you watching the live show, this is I can't even close the programme. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get out of this, but I don't want to stop now. Let's try a Control-Alt-Delete. If you're watching the recorded programme, of course, you've got no problem at all. You can see me again. But those of you with us live, for some reason, that picture has got stuck. And I really can't do anything with it at all at the moment. Is it just... Yeah, it's just that programme. So maybe I'll do a Control-Delete and see what happens. So let's give this a go. Control-Delete. What is it? Task Manager, isn't it? I'll close that. I'll disappear for a couple of seconds, all right? And then I'll come back. So you stay right there, my darlings, and worry about nothing. Right? Yeah. You may well still be able to hear me, actually. I think you can still hear me. It's just the video, isn't it? Right, so let's just fire this back up again and see how we get on. Keep your fingers crossed this will work quite quickly. There's always something going wrong. Have you noticed that? It's always something going wrong. There you go. How's that? Start that. There we are. We back again? Back again. There we are. That was pretty painless, wasn't it? Oh, I'm quite pleased about that. That did actually work. But does that mean I've lost all my other pictures now? Yes, it does. Hang on. Open. Because we've got some more audio coming up next. Let me just line that up for you there. If only there was like a producer or someone else like that, assisting with my programmes. So I think we're going to go to Sandra next. That's it, yeah. Now, don't forget, you can send in an email, boys and girls. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Just to let you know, Jimmy just sent me a message who we were talking to earlier, and he has asked me to mention the wonderful Drama Queens, which is like a collection of talented people. Some who have been doing it for years and years, some who have only just started doing it, and they were coming together at the Black Cap and then following that at the two brewers to put on little shows. I think one of them was their version of The Wizard of Oz and a few other little bits and pieces. So, and all headed by the very respected Spike Rhodes, who was kind of in charge of them and the producer and told everyone what to do. So good luck to those people in the Drama Queens. Let's see them back on that stage, all right? Okay, interview number 2 today is from someone called Sandra, boys and girls. Sandra is right at the very top of her career. She is a top London drag queen. And let's hear what she had to say to me yesterday. On the phone here is Sandra, who...
Hi, Chris.
In my mind, hello, Sandra, is the... I don't know how you would say it.
Old school drag.
Old school top London drag. That's what you are. But you're not really just old school. You've kind of... Because whenever I see you on the stage somewhere, there is something new from the charts in there somewhere. I mean, what's your latest song at the moment you're doing?
Madonna, Living for Love.
There you go. There's the proof of it. Every time. You must watch that telly intently, waiting to choose another song or something, do you?
I do, but I've always had to find whenever I put a new song and everybody does it, so I have to keep upping the game and keep changing it.
Are they copying you?
Yes.
Yeah, imitation is the best form of flattery. You do know that, Sandra.
That's what Regina said. That's what she said.
Tell me, how did you get into performing drag? And was the Black Cap the first place that you ever did? Did you win a competition or something?
No, my mum was living at the back of the Black Cap in Regent's Park.
Right.
And she said to me, when I first came to London from the Midlands, because my parents are divorced, she said, oh, there's a gay place in Camden. But she didn't know what the name of the place was. So she said, oh, phone Gay Switchboard and find out. So I phoned up Gay Switchboard and they said, oh, it's the Black Cap in Camden. And I remember going down and used to pay 50p to go into the back bar.
Yes, yeah.
And you wasn't allowed to dance because they used to have tables on the floor. They didn't have a dance license back then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yes, in 81.
1981?
There wasn't a dance license. And they used to throw you out if you danced.
Are you serious?
Yes, I remember dancing. They used to throw me out.
It was
wasn't allowed to dance.
Well, I didn't know that.
That's true, honestly.
And who was the DJ at the time? Was it David Rosen then?
No, it was Gracie, who used to work with Regina and the Disappointed Sisters.
Right, so she was the DJ.
And there was another guy. It wasn't David Rosen. It was another tall guy. He's still about. I can't remember his name. Some people might remember him. I
think I know who you mean. Did he used to sell burgers in the van outside Trade?
Yes.
Oh God, was it Dave?
That's it.
Dave.
Tall, going a bit bold now. I still see him out and about now and again.
Yeah, and he used to sell burgers and other bits and pieces in that.
But we won't go there. Yes,
that was hilarious.
He was like the resident DJ back in the day.
Right.
And then you used to come through the foyer, which is now the reception area when you come in.
Yes.
That was the other bar.
Yes,
that was the smaller bar, and you go through to the back.
Yeah, because that was there when I started, but I don't think it was there for a year, actually. It wasn't. It changed very quickly when I was there and became one long bar. But yes, that front and back part was there. And Column, I don't know if you knew, Column collected the money on the door, or he did when I was there anyway.
I think he's still around.
He lives in Brighton now. He often calls into he writes into the show often on a Saturday afternoon and a Wednesday night. Yeah, he's often there listening.
God.
Oh yeah, he listens. Yeah, he's there. He sends us little messages.
Oh God, there were days back then. God.
Yeah. So you got chucked out for dancing. I can't believe that.
Yes, he wasn't allowed to dance. I remember. This keeps throwing me out.
How funny.
Yes, and then when they got the license, that's when everything moved, because there used to be tables on the dance floor.
Right.
And used to watch the cabaret. Used to come on. I remember seeing Regina, Triple X, and now I just saw the tail end of Disappointed Sisters.
Yes.
And Mrs. Shufflewick in 81.
You saw Mrs. Shufflewick perform?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I saw Mrs. Shufflewick on a Sunday afternoon. I went down and I thought, who's this doddery old woman on the stage with a pint glass going, well, that was the whole of the show. I didn't know who she was, and I thought, who's this, and people used to laugh, and I didn't get it, but now I understand that was the whole part of her persona, in the show. That was a character.
Yeah, and she had a little band on there as well, didn't she?
That's right, yeah, on a Sunday afternoon, and then when she died, Nikki Young took over.
Big girl, weren't she? Nikki Young,
big
yes.
Scottish lady. And then when she died, Lee Paris took over.
Right.
And then when he died, I took over.
Well, you're still there, girl.
Yeah, I'm still there. And I was scared. Yeah, but back in the day, there was like Rebel. I remember Rebel.
Right.
And there was Simply Elegant.
Oh, I don't know that one. Simply
They were like gorgeous. Millie might remember them. There was like gorgeous, like black girls, not black boys, but they were like, drag queens.
Like drag, yeah.
Yeah, they were like stunning.
Oh, I never saw those.
Yeah.
How long did they do it for? Would they?
Well, when I came on the circuit, they were already on the circuit. But before I came on it, before I teamed up with Lucia, I used to watch them. Regina, I just saw the tail end of Disappointers. Lily wasn't around at that time.
Yeah.
So there was like Derek Reese. Remember Derek Reese? There was Derek Reese, and there was the Playgirls and the other ones. The ones what died. One's still living and does the pantomime now. Oh, Millie Wood, I just saw pictures of them, but I can't remember. Well, they were like the old school.
Yes.
Maisie, the Toilette.
Maisie Toilette. Did Lily Savage perform there much? Because her main place was a Vauxhall Tavern, wasn't it?
She didn't really like it. She did, but she didn't really like it. She was more the Vauxhall.
Yes, I understand, yeah. I mean, it seemed to me that you either preferred one or the other for whatever reason, even though they were both very similar, weren't they?
They was, but I always tend to find it was like if you were the North London act, you couldn't work in the South.
Right.
It was really weird, or the South acts couldn't work in the North. It was all that rivalry.
Is it like that now?
Not really, because I think we've interspersed now, because it's open, anybody can work anywhere now. But I remember you couldn't work in the East End because it was a very close-knit community. You had to, be invited in to work in sort of like places like the White Swan.
Yes.
Places like that at the time. It was really weird. It was like each venue was like, oh, our venue's better than yours. It was that sort of thing.
Right, okay. But you would attach yourself to the Black Cap, wouldn't you?
Well, I started from the Black Cap, so I always had that sort of loyalty to the Black Cap because I started my roots there. But when Regina went into the Vauxhall Tavern, on a Monday night, she used to take some of us, like Sandra, Lucia, Millie Turner, Nikki Vixen, Mark Longman, which is now Connie Lingus. We used to go and do shows with her, Jade and stuff like that. So that was our introduction into the Vauxhall Tavern. So so people who didn't come north of the river. Yeah, and it was good for us.
Do you remember Paul? Oh, Tony Paul.
Tony Paul, yes, I do.
Paul, yeah, he was one of the first people.
Where I live in Swiss Cottage. He used to work in the old Swiss Cottage, which is the pub up here.
There was one up there as well, was there? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The chef.
Do you remember the first time you ever performed, Sandra?
Yes, I did, and I remember it was on a Monday night. And they didn't have any cabaret on a Monday at the Cab, and I think Peter Stringfellow had just opened the Hippodrome because it was gay on Monday nights.
Yes.
And I remember when the High Energy records came out, and I remember doing High Energy, and it was just like anybody could get up and do anything on a Monday. And then David Rosen was the DJ, and he said, "Oh, I DJ at this place called the Elephant and Castle down by Vauxhall.
Yes.
Would you consider coming down and entering?" I went, "Oh, no way." I said, "No way." He said, "Don't come down." And I didn't do it the first week, but I went down the second week, and I can't remember who was hosting. I think Lily was hosting.
At the Elephant?
Yes,
right.
And I won. I won the competition. Then you had to come back the week after to fight for your reign. And I won it again. I won it for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And she said, "Don't come back," because I kept winning.
Who said that, Lily?
Lily, yeah, she said, "Don't come back." And that's how I started, really. And then it was from the Vauxhall Tavern. One of the guys just happened to see me, and he booked me to do the late night slot on a Friday, because the toilets were like the residents.
Yes.
The resident hosts. And then on the Friday we used to do the late about at 1 o'clock in the morning.
So the Black Cat wasn't the first place you performed at then?
Probably, it was in my introduction in it, but my first proper booking was at the Vauxhall Tavern.
Right, okay. And then after a while, you'd been performing on your own, then you got together with someone else, didn't you?
I was with a group called Shades of Black.
Oh, right, okay. Not heard of that. I've not heard.
81, 82, which was like a dance group.
And who were they?
And it was something different because I broke the mold with dancing on the scene because nobody really had dancers.
Right.
Apart from Regina, but she was more like a choreographer. She choreographed shows.
Regina did choreography?
Regina was a dancer before she did drag.
Okay, you're telling me new stuff now. Go on.
I thought you knew.
No, I didn't know
she was in a film in like, I think 1969 called Oh, What a Lovely War.
Right.
And she was in The Slip and the Rose with Richard Chamberlain and stuff like that. So she'd been around, but she was more of a choreographer.
Okay.
And then I had friends who were dancers, so I broke them all with dance groups.
Right.
So I was the first of like the dancers back in the day, and that's how it started. And then I took some time away because I had cancer, so I took 3 years out. And then someone kept telling me about this drag act on Regina's night, and I was thinking it was a Thursday or Tuesday she used to do. Stars of the Future, was it like a Thursday night? And I went down, it was Lucia, and that's how it started, really.
And so you got together with Lucia. Now, I've got to tell you something very funny,
Yes.
Sandra. We've just been talking to Kelly on
Right.
the phone earlier, and I mentioned Lucia to you. She said, oh, yes, God rest her soul. I said, why did you say that? She said, well, she died, didn't she? I said, I don't think so. And anyway, this conversation went on. She said, well, I think she did. I said, I'm sure she didn't. And it went on. And then I said, tell me what you remember of Lucia. Oh, she had this big fur coat and she used to throw... I said, no, that's Sade. So
No, Lucia's very much alive.
Bless her. And at the end of the chat, she said, do you want to cut that bit out? I said, no, it's quite funny.
No, keep it in, it's funny. No, because everyone always used to confuse me and Sade.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, you were just the same sort of shape, tall and thin.
Yes, but she was a lot darker than I was.
With Lucia, you stayed performing with her for quite some years, didn't you?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. I can't remember how long. It must have been so long now.
And she was on the talent show at the Black Cat, was she?
I think she did the talent night, yes. Right. But then I came back later on and I entered, I think, before Sade. I was before Sade.
Right.
And that's how I entered to get myself back into it because I've been away for like 2 years.
What, back on the Black Cat one, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
To get myself back into the circuit.
Right.
And that's how it started, and then Sade came after me.
Did you find that quite easy getting back into it?
Yes and no, because those who remembered me from before would come and support me, and those who didn't have to sort of re-establish myself.
Didn't know who you were, yeah.
Yeah.
But in those days, was there a band, or were you already on cassettes by then?
It was cassettes.
Was cassettes, okay.
Yeah, it was cassettes, oh my God, I remember. And you had to try and make yourself different from every other actor. Everybody used to nick everybody's numbers.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, it was all Shirley's and Dusty.
They still do that now.
I know, it was all Madonna's, but back then it was all Dusty and Shirley. And,
I'm sick to death. I'm sick to death of hearing the ABBA mega mix. Let me tell you that now.
Oh God, I only use it for hen night.
Now, so you had Sandra, Lucia, and then someone else joined you, didn't they?
Millie Turner.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, Millie was already an established act at the time, but I wanted to make it something different. I wanted to make it like a black version of Triple X that Regina was in.
Yes.
You know, and do celebrate black divas.
Yeah.
Because no one was really, there was all like white acts doing black numbers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's any number that always comes into my mind when I think of the black cap. Have you any idea what that is for me?
No, what
Right.
is
Well, it's actually, out of all the acts and everyone I've ever worked with there, and all the numbers that have gone, hundreds and hundreds of different numbers, the one number that always sticks in my mind is you, Millie, and Lucia doing Disco Inferno. I don't know why, but that one is always in my head, that particular number, and all those years.
That was one of my favourite numbers.
Yeah.
And the 3 degrees
Burn,
we used to do.
Yes, she did. Yeah, burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. That one. Yeah,
But
fantastic.
that was Millie's number, wasn't it?
Yes, weren't you all in it? You were all
Yeah,
in it,
but
weren't
that was Millie used to do that on her own, didn't she? Do you remember? And then when we got together, we sort of incorporated into the show.
Ah, right, okay, yep.
But
yep.
but she choreographed. That was Millie's number. Each of us choreographed each number from, like, when we had our own individual numbers. Like, I did the 3 degrees, so I choreographed the 3 degrees number.
Yeah.
But Millie choreographed that one, and everyone said that was one of the best numbers out of all the things I've seen.
It absolutely was indeed.
And it was one of mine.
So when was the last time you performed there?
It was Vagina's benefit night.
So
that was the last one. Was it 2013?
Yes, because we've missed a year now, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it was 2013.
And how did you feel on that night?
Well, I knew it was going to be the last one. And I was sort of sad but happy at the same time, because I don't think she would want it to carry on.
No, so this was a like in memory of Regina. When did Regina die? Was it
2003, wasn't
2003. I'm not sure the exact date, but
Yeah,
yes.
I think it was 2003.
So this was the memorial night that was performed every year, called the Winter
Palace Scala or something was called. Sung Tower Scala or something. They used to change it every year.
Yeah. Who was in charge of that particular night?
I think Titty was,
She run,
Titty and Jimmy Smith.
And they run, Titty and Jimmy run those charity nights from the first one, did they?
Yes,
right,
and then
okay.
I think Titty did it after when Jimmy moved to the Brewers. I think Titty took it on.
Right, and
but we all had a helping hand. We all just sit down and have a meeting and say what numbers we wanted to do and who we wanted to come in
yes, indeed.
to the fold, because a lot of the acts didn't really work with Regina, but we wanted to bring something in just to have a break while we were changing.
Sandra, when you were on stage at the Black Cap,
yes,
give me maybe one or a couple or three, whatever. What went wrong? Did anything ever go wrong?
Are you talking about with Fawcett Inns or with Mitchell and Butlers?
No.
Mitchell and Butlers were a good company.
When you're doing the show, did anything go wrong ever?
Oh, there were lots of things went wrong.
Go on.
Lots of things, like you used to have your tape didn't work, it was all chewed up.
Oh, I remember that.
Do you remember you used to chew?
You'd always blame the blooming DJ for that. I'd push the button and nothing would happen. Then you'd open it and I thought, what's going? And you'd take it out and then all this tape would come out of the machine.
Oh yeah, or you didn't clean the tape or something went wrong and then all your stuff used to disappear off the tape. You used to come onto blank stuff and you go, oh my God. Oh, I fell off the stage a few times. Remember before they put that white line at the front. And I remember times, just off the beaten track, I remember the time when you used to DJ at the place in Earl's Court. Was it Harpoon Louise?
Just Harpo's, yeah.
And I remember guesting with you one night, and you put that smoke on, I fell off into the table, remember?
Because that was a very tall stage, that one.
You put that smoke on, and it covered the whole room, and I fell off the stage. Oh, there's things used to always go wrong. Like your costume used to rip, or it didn't fit, was badly fitted. Oh my God! People used to throw glasses at you that didn't like you. You just dodge the glasses.
Where was that?
Oh, like if you had an argument with one of the customers, you know what I mean, and they used to sort of make the man used to throw glasses at you. Oh yes, they didn't like you. They just throw glasses to get you off. Well, I've had a glass thrown at me many times at the cab. But that was back in the day, you know what I mean? That was back in the day.
I'll tell you what, the one thing I remember, because people would put their drinks on the stage before the cabaret came on. And there was more than one occasion I remember people, you'd bring them on the stage and they'd start singing, whatever. At first I was afraid, and they'd go arse over tit.
I used to kick them off.
They'd fall over because the stage was so slippery.
It's true.
It used to get so slippery, that stage, didn't it?
We used to put Coke on the floor, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
To deaden the floor. Oh my God! The amount of times I used to see we're trying to kick the glasses off the stage. I had to pick them up and drink them.
Well,
you put them there. That's mine.
I always felt sorry for these people that you used to randomly pull up onto the stage and say, "Can I kiss you?"
Remember
the terrified
that
look on their face.
Yeah, but that was the one where introducing myself to them, is to fancy them, and you think that's the only way you could do it.
It worked very well, and you've kept that in your show now, haven't you?
Yes, I have, and there's so many acts have emulated me over the years doing that.
Yeah.
But I was the original. But I learnt my craft through the Black Cap, really, by watching the old school, the old school drag, and, the toilettes.
Yes,
and
indeed.
The Harlequins, that was the names, the Harlequins.
Harlequins, okay.
Yeah, and people like Derek Reese, Adrella. Dave Lynn.
Yeah, she was the first artist I worked with, Adrella, and she was fine. She was really nice to me.
But a lot of people said she was temperamental, but I got on really well with her. I worked with her several times over the years at Central Station and the Vauxhall.
So you carry on performing. Your big night now of the week is Sunday, really, at the Two Brewers in Clapham, isn't it? So when are you there?
I do say, but I do Central on a Wednesday. That's very popular.
Okay, when's that on? Wednesday
nights, about 9:30, 10:15. It's called The World According to Sandra, and I only did it from my perspective. And I'm a bit like you, a nostalgia. I got back into the days, from the days of cruising and stuff like that. But I sort of embellish it, from the days you used to sit there with a drill and a cup of tea, make the holes bigger, you know what I mean? I leave it there. I leave it to your imagination. And that's what I talk about those days, those days when it was free and easy. And even though... Oh, yes. People say, "Oh, the police go in there." I think it was the danger of element. The element of danger. You used to do it deliberately because before he's going to get caught.
Oh yeah, yeah. And someone who's kept us all in work for years and years is Mr. Jimmy Smith, isn't it?
Yes, that's true.
Now you work. Your I would say your big night of the week, and has been since 1999, is the Two Brewers in Clapham with Jimmy. And how is that?
I love the Brewers because I started originally with Dave Lynn. It was me and Dave Lynn originally. Dave Lynn used to do the early slot, and I used to do the late slot, which was like 9:30.
Right.
And then when Pan Am came, he moved her. I think she was doing Tuesdays, and he moved her to a Sunday. So she used to do the front bar on a Sunday. So it was Pan Am, Dave Lynn, and myself.
Right.
And then it changed over the years, and then he had different guests in the middle.
Yes.
And then when Pan Am became massive, and then she came off the scene, and I think it just went back down to 2, and then he brought in Miss Jason and made it popular at that 6:30.
So I was there with you between 99 and 2000 and... What are we now? 15, 14, 2012? Yeah,
around about that time.
We did that quite some time, didn't we?
But I loved it. But I still do, because I'm reinventing myself all the time, and I talk about things with topical that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Some people may not want to say it, but I say it because I think,
And I think they appreciate it, don't you?
I think so.
Have you had one of Jimmy's special birthday cakes? One or two of those over the years?
Over the years, and the Black Cap and the Brewers.
Yeah, because when one of us had a birthday, one of those, he brings out one of those cakes to me, those lovely,
big old cake.
Yeah, I've had two of those. And they were covered in little bits of chocolate and all that, and that was all Jimmy's doing, wasn't it?
Well, when my birthday was last year, they brought out a massive cake, and I thought, I can't bloody eat that.
But you did.
I don't know how I took it. I don't know how I got home with it in the car. It was huge. I think I cut pieces off and gave pieces. And that was the beauty of, like, when we had parties. Everybody used to cut a piece, and all the audience used to have a piece of the cake as well. So it wasn't just you. Do you remember? You cut pieces off.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So everybody had a piece of your cake. And I think that was the beauty of...
yes.
Of the community spirit back in the day. I think we've lost it a little bit in the end.
Yes, I think so.
Now, because I think everybody thinks like these places like the Black Cap, Vauxhall, Central, that are not immediate in the West End. I think they're losing out because people always assume that the gay scene is in the West End, and it's really not.
No, it's all over London, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we've lost Earl's Court. Do you remember back in the days?
Yes,
Earl's
that
Court?
went well. Harpo's, I was there for some years as well.
Yeah.
But that's complete. There's nothing left at all there.
No,
hang on a minute.
Really isn't
there a new one up that way in Fulham?
I believe so.
The Imperial Arms. I think that's a new one in Fulham that's recently opened.
Yeah,
So
I think it's in that section, but I don't know where it is.
We can see you on Wednesday at Central Station in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. What time is that?
I go in between 9:30 and 10:15.
And at the Two Brewers on Sunday in Clapham High Street?
11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Lovely to talk to you, Sandra.
And you too. It's been a
really
pleasure.
is. Just before you go, anything else coming along at the moment, or what?
Well, I might be doing... because I did theatre last year. I did musical theatre. I was in Hairspray, and that did really well last year. So they're thinking of... Well, they approached me on Sunday to do Little Shop of Horrors, to do the plant. Is it... Feed me. So they want me to do the plant in Little Shop of Horrors. And I said I would love to.
So there's a couple of new bits and pieces coming along. Would you ever consider doing a YouTube channel?
I would love to. I've always had it in mind. I had to do something like a chat show. That's how Crystal Rose started. It was a black chat show in London called... She started by doing YouTube. And I want to interview the gay... people
it's a lot.
Ian McKellen and stuff. Because I think it's important that we should embrace our heritage as well.
Let me help you a little bit here. I don't think you're that technically minded, are you?
I'm a technophobe.
Right. Well, that doesn't matter. Have you got an iPhone?
I have an iPhone.
Right. You know my short shows that I do, the 4 or 5 minute ones?
Yes.
They are all done on an iPhone. That's all you need. You don't need anything other than an iPhone. That's really all you need, and you can do it just on that. You point the camera at yourself, you turn the camera around so you can see the screen, put it on some sort of stand. I would advise you to get like a tripod, so it's solidly put on there. You start it off, you look at it, and you talk. You finish, you push the stop button, you send it up. That's the simplest way to do it, and I think you do really well at that.
I would look. I did a couple of years ago. I did interviews when I was interviewing people on the scene and West End stars, and that did really well.
There you go. Then that's the thing to do.
But that's what I want to get back into. But I've been approached to do things this year, like theatre, and also do like a stand-up, my life story called A Life in the Toilet. Someone wants to do that at Leicester Square, and I've just got in contact with Chris Green, who does Tina C, Ida Bar.
Okay, yeah.
And she said she will help me write the script for that one-woman show.
Lovely. That's fantastic news, isn't it, eh?
I'm really pleased. It's the drag has helped me, but I just want to broaden.
You want to do more now, I understand.
Other avenues, yes. I've always done that. People just didn't know. They were just saw you on the scene.
It's like me and the DJ, and I want to do more now. I love doing. I'd like to do more karaoke. I'd like to do more quiz nights. I actually prefer doing those things now to just doing DJing. I'd love to do something like this, really, but I think. When it comes to radio and stuff, I don't think I'm probably mainstream, so...
But you don't have to be mainstreamed, really, can you? You could just be like a web blogger, can't you?
Yeah, which is what I'm doing now, I suppose, in a way, isn't it?
Yes, and it's done very successful.
Yeah, I'm quite...
So you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you for calling, my darling.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
You too, my darling. Have a lovely weekend, all right?
And you too, my darling. Bye.
Cheerio. There we are.
Bye.
Sandra
Bye.
On the line, coming in, chatting to us about her time so far and many more years to come as a drag queen. All right, That was a nice little interview, wasn't it, Sandra? We've got 2 more coming up, boys and girls. 2 more coming up. We're live at the moment, so if you want to send in a message, maybe, if anyone else wants to call in, you can do that now, as quickly as you can, all right? Because before we go on to the next email, the next little bit of recording for you, the Skype in is United Kingdom Talk. If you've got Skype, just add us there, okay? United Kingdom Talk. And we've got the phone-in number as well. It's a local London number, 020 8144 3477. 020 8144 3477. Short little bit of video to play out for you now. Now, one of the things missing from these last 2 shows have been the new Black Cap, what I call the new Black Cap, when it was changed a couple of years ago. Lots of new artists going in there, doing their thing, and I didn't have an awful lot of contact with those people, and I was hoping we'd get someone in, but nothing's really come through on that one, I'm afraid. So we haven't got anyone in that sort of breed there, other than this one email I've received from Louise, who says, "Hi Chris, I'll be quick. I'm a married transvestite, okay? Tranny for short, that is, boys and girls. So for transvestite, you could say tranny, okay? And my wife, he's married, and I would go to the Black Cap regularly. We were given the best and most friendly welcome that anyone could ever wish for. I even had the opportunity to sing on that famous stage. No one, staff or customer, made either of us feel uncomfortable at any time. We are both very upset because of the closure of the Black Cap, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Out of interest, this is me," and she says, "Yes, I'm a show-off, an actor." Now, I don't think you expected me to do this, but I've grabbed your YouTube video from air, and it's just a couple of minutes long. I hope I'll be able to play it out all right, copyright restrictions and all that sort of thing. So let's give it a little watch. And this is Louise performing at the Black Cap. See what you think of this, boys and There's Louise performing I Love to Boogie on a Saturday night. Now, you might have seen it wasn't a very clear video there. The reason she's so red is because the stage, the lights on there was a lot of them broken the last time I was there a few months ago doing a private karaoke night. and it looks very red, but it generally doesn't look red like that in real life. So thank you for that, Louise, and I hope you don't mind me playing out your little video there. You're watching United Kingdom Talk. If you're watching us live, it's just coming up to 1:30 on Saturday, the 18th of April 2015. A very warm welcome to you if you're just joining us. We're doing today memories of the Black Cap, an iconic gay London pub that closed, it would seem, for good on Sunday for the last time after many, many decades of not only giving you entertainment for all walks of life, really, but also as a very, very special place in the gay community. It's one of those places that you expected would never, ever close. I mean, it really is. 2 more interviews coming up for you now, boys and girls. This one is from Justin, who I spoke to yesterday on the phone, all right? And this is Justin on the phone, who is a pub landlord up in Hertfordshire. Hello, Justin.
Good evening, Christopher.
Very, very good evening to you, my dear friend. So, your thoughts or your memories, maybe, of the Black Cap. Do you remember the very first time you went in there?
I do. I was somewhat intoxicated, and
Is that like a normal state of you, really, being intoxicated most of the time?
It used to be. I've turned over a new leaf as of yesterday.
Oh, right, okay. Too much alcohol in the blood, it's not good for you, dear.
No, it's not. No, I was hoodwinked and told, would you like to go and see this venue in Camden, which apparently was the Palladium of Drag? And I'm like, what? Palladium? Camden? Yes, go on in. So we went there, and it was a Tuesday night, ironically. And I knew Regina from years before.
That would be Regina Fong, yes, yeah.
But I've never actually seen him. I hadn't seen him for years, to be honest, at the time. And then we went in there, and it was like, oh my God, it was just brilliant.
Packed.
The atmosphere, you couldn't get in the door. Could not get in the door.
Roughly when, do you know when the year this was, or?
About 96, I think.
96, okay.
It was quite late. It was quite late on.
Yeah, I thought you were. I'm looking at your photo, and I thought you was going to say early 80s. Then, you know.
No, I was only a baby then. Good job we're on air.
Well, you're lucky. You're one of the recorded ones. So if there's anything you don't like, I'll just chop away, dear.
Oh,
chop
really,
away.
chuck it away. Yeah.
So it was massive atmosphere.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was David Rosen, I remember that evening, with his famous phone pushed to his ear.
Oh yes, the red twin. I did show that on Wednesday's show this week. The red twin.
Did you? Oh,
yeah,
memories.
Was it
how he heard anything through that bloody thing? I'll never know. Never know. And on the other ear, you got Regina screaming at him to put the tape on, because it was tapes in them days, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. You had to, as a number finished. If I can just explain, people that don't know. An artist would have several numbers, okay, and they would all be, in Regina's case, they would all be on separate tapes. And she had this big suitcase, not a suitcase, like a cassette. What do you call it? Cassette case.
It's a little cassette case.
A cassette.
A little trinkets.
A cassette box full of cassettes. That's what she had, and each number was on a separate one, and she'd shout it out, and there would be, how many numbers did she have there? It was a full box of cassettes, I know that. And she'd shout something out, and nothing would be in order.
Oh.
It wouldn't be like alphabetical. So you'd then have to scan through all these cassettes, pull one out, and then put it in, and then you'd have
remember you doing it one night.
Oh, God, don't. I only worked with her about 5 times.
I remember this night, the face on it. She's screaming at you, as if to say, I can't. What the beep do you want me to do next? And it was just, I do remember that. I wish I'd had a camera that evening. That was hilarious.
And you'd have to scan across these cassettes, pull one out, shove it in the machine, quickly check that it was lined up at the start, because not every DJ would wind it back for you. You see? So she might have been somewhere else the night before, a couple of nights before, and then you'd have this cassette which wasn't quite lined up, and you don't want to push it and then for it to go half, because that would be even worse. She'd go mad. She'd go mad. Yeah. And that's how it works. And then when they finished the number, the idea was you'd wind the cassette back to the beginning, cue it up for the next DJ wherever that was. But that very often wasn't the case. You know what I did once? Oh, I was awful. I was awful.
Go on.
Now, Simon Holloway was filling in one night. It may have been a Tuesday, I don't know. Or it might even be did she ever do a Sunday there? Did she ever do
Sometimes. It was mainly like for charity things and like, or bank holidays or something like that. She do the rounds. I mean, they all do the rounds. They do the Cat, the Swan, the Brewers.
Yeah. These are you're talking about the drag people now.
Yeah,
and the various venues in London, the cabaret venues in London. And Simon Holloway was DJing, and I think I was off, but I don't know, I was in there for some reason. And this was the days in where the stage had been moved to the end of the bar. You remember that, okay?
Mm-hmm,
but now it had been moved back onto the stage again. Just as our longest-serving manager there, I think Jimmy Smith was running the place at the time.
Yep.
And I came, but the electrics for the stage was still at the end of the bar in a cupboard. And
I kind of remember this.
I don't know if you were there at the time, but I wanted to play a joke on Simon. And Regina was on the stage at the time, and she was on there, and every now and again I went into the electric cupboard at the end of the bar and turned the lights off. And she, what's going on? And she looked back at Simon, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And then they come back on again. So she'd carry on with a bit more of the show. And then I'd flick the switch again. But are you standing on something, Mr. Holloway? What are you standing on a wire behind there? Oh my God, it was hilarious. And I don't think I ever told him. No, I did it a few more times, and then I just went. Now? I just went.
That would have been a good confession.
And then there was another time earlier than that, maybe around about 1990. Again,
I was still at school then, so I wouldn't.
Were you at school in 1990? Please do me a favour. There was another occasion in around 1990 where on a Tuesday night I'd gone in and I'd bought a video camera. My first...
Oh, the delicate ones that weighed about 4 stone and they were about 15 feet long.
I'd bought a little video camera with tapes. You know, you would tape it onto a tape, and I set this up in the DJ box with David Rosen, who was, in my eyes, he was her main DJ. End of story. After he left, Simon the Vans took over, and he was her DJ at that time. But for me, her main DJ was always David Rosen. And I set this thing up and he brought her on stage, and I said, Dave, can you? Because I wanted to show my mum this. Right, I said, Dave, can you ask her not to swear, just for a little while, because because I want to show this to Mum. Yeah, okay. Regina, because now, when Regina was on stage and David was doing her sound, there was a good rapport between the two of them. I don't know if
it... Oh, brilliant. They just bounced
yes, all the time. Now, I don't know if that worked with other DJs and her. I don't know. I think it was just those two, her and Rosen. Certainly when on the very few occasions I put her on stage, that rapport just wasn't there. I don't know why, it just wasn't. But with her and Rosen, it was back and forth all the time. And... so she's come on the stage. Regina, yes, Mr. Rosen, like that. Yes, Mr. Rosen. He said, Chris Reardon is filming tonight. He's filming tonight, and he wondered if for a short period of time, could you possibly not swear, Mr. Rosen? Not swear? Are you telling me how to do my show? Now, listen here, Mrs. Reardon. This is life in the effing raw. In the effing raw. This is how it is. No, I will not swear.
Have you still got that footage anywhere? That would be brilliant.
No, I haven't. I haven't got it. I've actually gone on YouTube and found various bits and pieces. Actually, at the end of today's show, I've got something very nice to show of a finale. Now, I don't know what will happen there, because YouTube don't like you playing music from copywritten music, so that's why I've left it to right at the end. Sometimes you generally get a little note flash up in the studio telling me you can't play this, take it off, or your show goes off air. So that's why I've put it at the end.
There may be ways around it. We'll talk off air.
Yeah, it's only two and a half minutes worth, but
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's it. So that.
I mean, other times at the Cap, I mean, I've been asked to leave. I've been welcomed in.
But isn't that the same? Is that like with quite a few venues you're generally asked to leave places? Is
No,
it?
not really. Just the Cap mainly. I mean, I've left there with the milkman. Not literally, you understand. But yeah, we've had some fun. We had lots of fun, and it's a great shame. It's a total shock. I was in the States when I heard about it, and
Yes.
it's like. Can't say. Words can't say. It's just amazing. How the hell?
Was it a huge part of your life, or just somewhere to go?
It was a massive part. Sort of like, because being out and proud, enjoying ourselves, obviously having a drink, and just having fun. That's what it was all about. There's no attitude in there. No attitude.
Do you remember anything sort of, I don't know, funny happening in there, or even bad happening in there? I don't know.
There's a couple that aren't really broadcastable, unfortunately. If anyone wants to come and meet me in London, we can talk about it, and I can tell the world. Not on this show, I'm afraid, because they are very X-rated. And there was one time, it is another Regina one, I'm afraid, but she came out, and she was a bit worse for wear, to say the least. And there was a lesbian at the front of the stage, and she said... she came out, she waved her fan, and then there was a silence, and she said, "Good evening," and this lesbian said, "You're SHIT." Well, Regina just looked at her, smacked her around the head with a fan, and carried on. Well, the lesbian jumped on stage, the wig came off, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. And then security took, I think that was the beginning of having to have security by the stage, I think, what I remember.
Was it? Right.
And then they carried the lesbian off, Regina stood up, put the wig back on skew if, because she was drunk.
Yeah.
And said, "I guess that's the end of the show." Well, then the lesbian called the police, and we had all of this hassle. Regina kept the police waiting, thought she'd get changed back into man drag.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Jimmy Smith or somebody said to this lesbian, whispered in her ear, "Do you really want to stand up in court and say you've been beaten up by a drag queen?" And
the girls
she sort of relented.
Yeah.
And she said, "Only if he says sorry, then I won't pursue it." Well, trying to get Regina to say sorry is like asking him not to swear on his stage, on his act.
Yeah.
And it was a comical moment, how he just looked her up and down and under his breath went, "Sorry." And I can't repeat any more of that story, but you can imagine. I can't even spell out the words.
Please don't.
So, yes, no, I won't. But, that was... But generally, I never actually witnessed a fight, and now I know they happened, obviously, but not very often. I never saw one in all the years I went there. And
when it was first done up again, refurbished, shortly after Jimmy Smith took over, I think we had a good refurbishment, and it looked fantastic, didn't it? Do you remember that when it was first? So we'd been moved back from the end of the bar back onto the stage, and I remember that opening. I don't know if I did the opening for that. I can't remember now. But it looked fantastic what they'd done to the place. I mean, it really did. We had two lots of curtains.
They actually spent money on it. They really
a fortune. And for many years it looked really fantastic like that. But really, I think since that big refurbishment was done, there wasn't much done to it ever since that. You know,
I think it was just little bits and pieces here and there that needed doing, but nothing major.
Yeah, sometimes I say, we've got a refurb going, and it might carry on, and then you might have some new toilets, or you might have a new that, a new that. But there was a very big one done sometime early 90s, just as Jimmy took over, and it looked fantastic after that. Really fantastic, didn't it?
I do.
Yeah. Well, lovely to talk to you, Justin.
It's a great shame.
Yeah.
Lovely to speak to you too, Mr. Reardon.
Okay.
Good luck with the rest of the show.
And good luck with your pub landlording. And what, you got a little pokey place up north or something like that, have you?
Little pokey place up north, yes, as was quoted by somebody many years ago. But I'm still there.
Cheerio, Justin.
But I'm still there.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Justin. They were chatting on the phone to me yesterday. Don't forget, there's an email address if you're watching a recording of the show, which most people do, actually. A lot of people watch or indeed listen to the recording of the show than watch the live version. Then you can always send it an email and I'll read it out in one of the next ones, okay? You get the email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. As we've got some new people watching and listening today, don't forget there's a daily short video. I do quite a lot here. Daily short videos, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as well as the live show every Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock UK time. And we've started doing late night shows on Wednesday at 11 o'clock, although not next week, because I'll be hosting a quiz at a little place in Islington called the King's Head on a Wednesday night at 8:30. So no live show this Wednesday, okay? Got an email here from top cabaret artist Millie Turner, aka Anthony, who writes on the subject, of course, of the black cap. My years of experience and love affair with the black cap. Actually, this is printed out really small, so I'm going to put my specs on for this. Incidentally, these specs, okay, these are not like £100 from blooming whoever, Specsavers or Dolland and Aitchison or Boots. These are £10 from the little shelves in, I think these ones are from Sainsbury's, actually. Sainsbury's or Waitrose, one or the other. And they do quite well. What you have to do is they've got all these different glasses on a stand thing there, also, and they've got a little bit of writing there, right, sort of pinned to the stand, and you try on all the glasses until it looks all right. And these are fine, £10. Why are you going out spending hundreds of pounds on frames, dear? You don't need to. That's enough. That's enough. Millie Turner writes, for my years of experience and love affair with a black cat began, like many, with the desire to find a place with people I could identify with and feel like I belonged. And like many, I found much, much more. For me, as a teenager, the Black Cat was a vibrant, colourful place with people from all walks of life. And it didn't take me long to make friends, some of which I'm fortunate enough to still have today. Personally, I only went looking for a soft drink and some friendly faces, but I found the Cap offered amazing cabaret acts like Sapphire, The Misdemeanors, David Dow, Rebel, Lily Savage, Adrella and the wonderful Disappointer Sisters. They were a triple act that included someone who would later become a very wonderful close friend off the stage and a joy to work with on stage. He was Reg Bundy, otherwise known to many as Regina Fong. There were many more fantastic acts, and after rising to a friend's dare, I entered the annual talent contest, and after winning, much to my surprise, I went on to have the pleasure and time of my life working with most of them at some point over the years. Some became and remain family. Well, I hope I'm one of those, Tony. I know we don't see each other much, but I hope I'm one of those. When I first went into the place, it was run by one-of-a-kind Barbara, who managed the place with husband Tom. They always knew what was best for the place, and I saw many managers come and go. Some were good, but Barbara and Tom's excellence had hardly been matched until Jimmy Smith came along and did a great service for the place, the acts, the staff, the punters and the community. The place had a long line of specially chosen DJs who were friendly and fun-loving. Some I remember well are Dave G, David Rosen, MC Dryweave, Demon, DJ Littlejohn and some bloke called Reardon. And I'll stop there in case I forgot someone equally deserving of a mention. Because I stayed loyal to the place for 3 decades, I lost count of the amount of changes the place had and the amount of times people would stop me and say, "Hey Millie, have you heard they are turning the place straight?" Or, "They are getting rid of all the cabaret acts?" Or, "Are aliens coming to take the venue to another planet?" I always felt that if they stayed and did their bit, like I and a few other acts and regulars, they could have also helped see the venue through the rough times it had. But I guess their loss was everyone else's gain. When the place picked up again and we were blessed with the return of Mr. Smith with his conjuring tricks and know-how. Hurrah! Some of my best memories have been from the numerous charity nights held there for worthy causes that benefited people in and outside the community. The aim, of course, was just to entertain the crowd and raise money to help others less fortunate. Those great nights often ended in chaos, laughter, rolling around on dirty floors, wig swapping, unbalanced footing, dignity and memory loss. But with thousands of pounds raised, others were helped, and that's all that mattered. On a similar note, before social media, it was great places like the Cap that helped raise awareness, as well as raising much needed money for charities like Mildmay and campaigners like Stonewall. I'll just end this brief trip down memory lane on an earlier point about the Black Cap. Because as well as a place to drink and have all kinds of fun, it has in the past recently been a very important venue for locals and non-locals, young and older, to have such a place where they felt safe. This is whether they were having a difficult time coming out to friends or family, or perhaps just the need for some kind of safe haven. I know it helped me in both ways, and we owe the opportunity of being part of such an iconic place so much, and it was indeed an unforgivable privilege. And that's from Millie Turner. So thank you very much for that, Millie. And it's an absolute wonderful to get that email from you there, my darling. I mean, it really is. She really is a very well thought of person. We've got a call coming in now. Who's that on the line, please? Oh, we've dropped it. It's dropped out. 1 second. I'll try and call that back, actually. Let's just try and call that back. I think this is going to be one of the other DJs, Ian James. I've got a feeling it's going to be Ian James, so we'll try this one now and see what happens. There it is, ringing away. You get the ringtones and everything. We don't cut anything out. Hello, who's that? Is that Ian?
Yes, it is.
Hello,
Chris, how are you?
Ian James. You're live on United Kingdom Talk. How exciting for you.
Well, how exciting. Yes, indeed. How exciting.
Now, you've only got a few minutes there because I've got to go to another interview and then we're out of time, really. So, you started at the Black Cat. How long were you at the Black Cat for? Just a little while, was it?
I was working there for about a year and a bit.
And you did what nights
just over
there?
A year.
What nights did you do there?
I did a Wednesday night karaoke and a lot of Friday nights and a few Saturdays.
What did you prefer doing the DJing or the karaoke there?
I really enjoyed both, Chris. They were completely different. So
yes.
The DJing was a lot about expressing myself and music and really bringing the crowd up into a frenzy. And the Wednesday night was about personalities and getting to know people and really giving the night over to the community.
Yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. Did anything ever go wrong there? Oh, we've lost you. Have I lost you? Damn. And we've got one more interview to play you out today, boys and girls. This is coming from someone called Nathan. Okay? And Nathan is an ex-customer, and you'll hear about him a little bit more in the interview. I've got a little picture of Nathan to bring up for you as well there somewhere. There it is. There's Nathan coming up for you in a second, all right? Now to Nathan Rayo, who is he tried to call in actually on Wednesday night, boys and girls, but the phone didn't quite work for some reason. You must be buying a cheap phone there, Nathan. And I would have thought with all that money you're earning at the Daily Express. Now let me tell you, boys and girls, Nathan Rayo is one of the people that you often see. You know those front pages on the Daily Express where there's some sort of disaster about to happen, whether it be the weather or I think I saw an earthquake recently or something like that. Well, that is Nathan Rayo, generally, who writes those things. And the funny thing about this is that I just mentioned on one of the shows a few months ago how unbelievable these stories on the front page of the Daily Express were. And then a few days later, I got this message from Nathan saying, "Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying my news stories," or something like that. And I thought, Nathan, now I know that name. So I quickly looked booked it up, and it just happened to be one of the customers when he was a young child, but a young boy coming into the Black Cap on the nights that I work there. So, hello, Nathan. I feel privileged to actually have you on the phone. And how
don't. It's a pleasure. It's absolutely a pleasure. I will say to you, I don't know where. I promise you, I'm not sitting on a pot of ill-gotten gold from my earnings. But I'm glad you enjoy. I'm glad to enjoy them. And
come on now, all those people that write for the front. I mean, I might believe you if it was somewhere in the middle, but you're on the front page, dear. The front page.
I'm very flattered. Chris. And we, of course, you know, are you hot where you are? It's beautiful where we are. Heat wave, another glorious hot weather spell in early April.
Yeah, go on. We want to hear this. Here comes Nathan Rayo's
weather. Hold out. I can give you a tip, an exclusive. It's going to probably hold out for another week, but it does look cooler after then. So make the most of it. Next week, weekend's looking good. Get out and about, enjoy the sunshine, because it's probably not going to last till the beginning of next month. But you know, with the weather, we've been known to be wrong. Anything could happen.
More important for gardeners like myself, because I do like pottering around in the garden.
You may get a sharp overnight frost, Chris.
That's what I'm asking.
You may get one this week, so take care.
Can I have that? How accurate can you be? I mean, can you give me a day and a time?
Probably couldn't go let's just say sometime this week, get your tomatoes in, don't leave them out too long. If you get a hint of that early evening chill wind, get them in, because you might get a frost overnight.
What about, can you give us a bit of a lot, we should be talking about the Black Cap here. What about the any chance of something a little bit long range here?
Well, the problem with long range is that there are people that, you know, that can do long ranges. You know, if I was to hazard a guess, Chris, if I was to put my own neck on the line here, and you know, I haven't written this or put this anywhere else yet, so this is just for you. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say, given on what we've had so far this April, it might not be a surprise if we get a really nice summer, because we didn't have one last year, and we didn't have one, I think, I can't remember the year before, but we're due for a really nice, hot, barbecue, long summer. So, given what April's delivered up until now, I will say, possibly, we might get it.
And that is a United Kingdom Talk exclusive, isn't it?
It is. That is, absolutely. Now,
bearing as mind, you know, because I look through your bits and pieces, I do believe you're a friend of Michael Fish.
Yes, I have. Actually, I was having lunch with Michael on Monday. Yeah.
It wasn't you who advised him, was it? That terrible. I'm not going to bring it up again. That terrible day. It wasn't you who advised him, because you must have been about 10 then, were you? I
think I was 13. I remember that night very well. No, I had nothing to do with it. But I have a thing with Michael. Whenever we meet, I don't mention the H word.
Right, lovely. And does he still do? What does he do with it? Is he retired?
He's a very good friend of mine. Actually, he does a lot of weather, sort of low, you know, non-high profile weather reporting, online stuff. He does a couple. You know, if there's some big storms coming in the autumn, Michael will, you know, he'll get find himself in front of the BBC talking about hurricanes and things like that. So he's still there. He's still out and about.
He does come across as one of those people who's really into it, rather than he's just presenting it.
He's absolutely passionate about it. He's a lovely, lovely bloke,
and comes across as such.
I'm pleased to sort of be his mate. Yeah.
Good. So the Black Cap, as you well know, is now closed. The latest I've got on this, and this is just before I started recording there, is that there are actually builders in there now. Yeah.
What a shame. Do we know why? Do we know what? Did people stop going? It was something about planning I read, but I haven't actually looked. But
there are so many things going around at the moment. One of the ones is that there was no one going in anymore. There was a new manager called Jamie who I thought turned the place around. Yeah. I mean, he shook it upside down and completely changed what goes on.
Did he? And that could, right? So people don't like it.
Well, no, I think they did. I think people started going there, and there was a guy called George, assistant manager, who had a big hand in there as well in changing the place around. You know, because it wasn't quite working anymore as it was, so something had to be done, and they did this a few years ago. When I say a few years, I mean 2 or 3, as recent as that, right? Changed it all around, had all this different drag and artists that none of us really knew. But I think, as time had gone on, it had started to improve. Now, the story I've heard today is that Fawcett Inns never actually owned it. It was looked after by them, and someone else actually owned it, and then someone else has said, well, it was sold a while ago and it's been split in two. So the bottom have been sold and the top has been sold.
What a shame.
So I have, but these are all bits coming in all over the place. No one's really sure what the hell's going on, to be honest. But the latest I heard is that there were builders in there ripping it apart.
It's a huge shame. I mean, the Black Cap is the iconic. I mean, it's the gay community. It's the iconic landmark, certainly in Camden, if not North London, isn't it? It's been a part of our lives for years and years and years. It's so sad. Was
it the first place you ever went into, or?
I mean, we're talking. I mean, I was sort of like going out and about sort of 1992, and I think it probably was. I mean, those were the days we had the Edge. I think was where was the Edge? The original Edge was in Soho somewhere, I think, and then you had the bigger clubs. But I mean, the places like the Black Cat were absolute havens. I mean, we've got to remember that this was, as I said, 1992. Now, I think I was 18 at the time, and technically, this is when the law was telling you that it was illegal to be gay before the age of 21.
Oh yes, I remember
back
that.
then. Yeah. So these places, for me, I mean, they were like sanctuaries. They were like havens where you could sort of step in on a Friday night, and leave the rest of the world behind, and you were suddenly accepted into the bosom of this community where you were welcome and where you were considered to be normal, and there was nothing different about you.
Yes.
I don't know. The world has changed, though, for good. For the good. We live in a brave new world now where you can be whoever and whatever you want, wherever you want.
Except just not in the Black Cap anymore.
And it's just not the Black Cap anymore. No, but it's a huge shame. I've got very precious memories of
Tell us some of them.
There.
Tell us some of them.
Well, I'll tell you one very unpleasant one first, actually. And I don't know if you'd actually remember this, but it's involving the dear departed Her Royal Highness Regina Fong.
Yes, indeed, yes.
I was one evening, I think it was a Friday night, as a young 19-year-old, sort of, a bit nervous and a bit shy, and I was sitting on the edge of the stage where you were probably in the DJ booth, slightly set back, and she came on, and she was about to do her turn, and I remember for a split second just blacking out, sat there on the edge of the stage with my beer beside me.
What happened?
Coming round, I turned round and she was stood over me with this bloody wooden fan in her hand, saying, "And if you don't get off my stage, I'll do the other ear for you." And she clacked me around the head with her fan.
She'd knocked you out?
Sorry?
She'd knocked you out?
She'd actually knocked me out. I think my ear I didn't wait for a week after that. I never sat on the stage again, I can tell you. But
oh my word! Well, you're not the only one who said that on the show today. Someone else has called in already.
Really?
Yeah, we just played out another interview a little bit earlier. I think it was Justin about attacking a lesbian with a fan as well. But the girl had been hassling her on the stage, and it's God.
Yeah, I didn't get any sympathy from the crowd. I don't think. I think.
No, you wouldn't. No.
No, I was. But it toughened me up. It made me. I think I can give Regina that one.
No, I don't think I would have been there because she did Tuesdays. She didn't do Fridays. It was
maybe you weren't there.
There might have been a very, very, very rare Friday or Saturday, but her main night was Tuesday. I don't actually remember ever doing a Friday, unless of course it was one of those charity events where she went to a couple of those.
It might have been. I for obvious reasons remember it very well. It's one of my fond memory of the Black Cat. But I have so many things I can remember there. I mean, obviously, again, the music was brilliant. I mean, that was when early 90s. We just left the 80s, so the music, the particularly good DJ there, Chris. I think it was yourself.
Thank you.
It was a particularly well DJ'd venue, but for me it was simply the time when I was just discovering myself, and again in a time 25 years ago now, it was not as free and easy as it is now, and it was a place where you would go and you'd suddenly just be able to leave all the the pretense that you maybe were carrying and all the hostility that was still very much at the forefront back then, in the workplace and places like that. Just leave it at the door and spend the evening in a black cap. And it was like, as I said, it was like a sanctuary. It was like being in a party of friends on a Friday night.
Any particular songs that come into your mind that if I was to play a certain song now, would you be transported back to the black cap?
Yes, I would. Now, I can't remember the name of it. Now, I remember...
Sing it.
Was it,
Sing it.
Who did some of those really late 70s, like, was it Frida Payne, Band of Gold?
Band of Gold, yes, Band of Gold.
I think you used to do... What's that band called? I'm going to expose the fact that I'm not really
for some reason, I've got it in my head straight away, even before you say it, although it might be wrong. Tight Fit, The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Oh, yeah, and what was it? Undecided?
Is that the one you meant?
I think Undecided. What was the other one?
Undecided. No, Undecided. I don't remember.
Yeah, was it Baccarat? What was Baccarat?
Baccarat. Yes, so I can boogie.
Yeah, no, I remember that very well. I've never heard that really anywhere other than the Black Cap. I don't think.
So I
hear that now, I sort of I'm transported back to those early 90s. Thinking, I remember when I last heard that.
Give us a couple of bars of that. Go on,
I've given you one exclusive today, Chris. That's the last thing.
Yes, sir.
On the
I
on
can
boogie.
You
did it far better than me.
So you loved the place.
Sorry?
You loved the place, didn't you?
I did. I mean, as I said, I did. I was. It was the only time I got to be me, and I know I keep saying, but I meet young. I mean, it's great. It's a wonderful place. I mean, there's nothing wrong now. I mean, if I wanted to go with my partner to, the pub down the road, nobody would bat an eyelid. I wouldn't have to, to a certain extent.
Yes.
Back then, it was very different. And I'm not talking, 60, 70 years ago. It's only in the last two and a bit decades. But it was very different, Chris, and it was the place where you could go in and you wouldn't have to, could leave that. You wouldn't feel that sort of oppression, which was very, 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 very present. It was to me, certainly. I don't know, maybe I was younger and suddenly just discovering myself. But I was being told by society, you're certainly not gay, until you're 21, you can't know what that is. And, we tolerate you now, but we don't want you, and all that sort of thing was still very, very much obvious to me. And it was like going, and it was like being somewhere where obviously there was none of that. You were just you could be yourself. You were respected for who you were and what you were, in respect of everyone else. In a world at the time that wasn't as accepting as it is now. You would walk into a pub, maybe, a local pub with a partner or something, and you wouldn't be surprised if you got a look that said, you may be happier at the place down the road, a bit more your scene type thing. Things that you'd never get now. That these places, gave us the freedom to be who they were, and they are, they're disappearing, which is a shame. But on the other hand, as I said, we now live in a brave new world, and maybe the need for. Well,
yes, I mean, I've as you know, I work in straight places as well. Gay or straight doesn't make any difference to me. It's another job. Although, I said on the show on Wednesday, it was more than a job. It was like a personal thing that you had. With
no, I know. I remember you. It was. It wasn't just a job. You weren't just a DJ. You were the face, weren't you?
Oh, no. I don't think I was the face. You had a very smiley face. Whenever you came in, you had a massive smile on your face, which gave away a little bit more than you think.
Really? I don't want to push that one. I don't know where that's going, really. But I don't know what happened.
Going back to... I've lost the thread now. Oh, dear. Oh, the thread of my head has gone.
Oh, about the smiley face, the smiley crowd.
Smiley face, no, just before that. No, I can't remember now what I was going to say now.
That's
it might come back in a minute. That is the Alzheimer's, as you well know. 52 now, the hair's already disappeared. But a lot of it,
yes, it has, yeah.
But the hair seems to somehow convert to fat around my waist. I don't understand. Does that happen to you or not?
No, it hasn't.
You lucky thing.
It tries its best to. It does try its best to, but I stave it off with a rod of fury. I'm galloping around the park, not.
Oh, are you doing the running?
Sorry?
You doing the running?
I'm doing the running, yeah. I don't want it to come just yet. Give it another 10 years. I'm doing the running and trying to keep myself as fit and healthy as possible. 40, it does a lot. 40 arrives.
Yes, yeah.
And you suddenly wake up one morning and you've got aches that weren't there the day before.
That's right, yeah.
And, so I'm trying to keep up with it, but, yeah.
Gosh, well, I always remember your very smiley, happy face in the audience. Whenever I looked at you, you had this big smile on your face, and you would just seem to be happy in there. You really were.
It was very unpretentious. I mean, there was obviously pretension. There always is, but I don't think it is. There was something quite genuine about the place. It was very unpretentious. It was very, there was obviously, a lot of people used to go there to meet someone or whatever, and that happens, we know, and it's. But there was no pretense about it. I think these days, I think a lot of the character, a lot of the charm of the community. Maybe you'll agree with me or disagree. I don't know. I'll let you think. But a lot of the character and the charm and that real closeness that you had with people that maybe you've never met before, but because they were in the same boat as you, seems to have gone. And I don't know whether that's because of social media or because you don't need to step out of your front door now to chat with people online or whatever. I mean, if you were like me and you inhabited the world of straightness for 5 days or 7 days of the week,
and it was nice to get out of it.
You would just go there on the off chance that you could meet someone and you would meet someone. Now people don't need to do it.
No,
you can do
that's
it,
what
your computer.
That's what you've got it there. So what I was going to say is that I work in straight places as well as going, and in just. I don't know what you call them, straight places now, often you see two girls in there or two boys in there and it's quite obvious and no one bats an eyelid.
No one bats an eyelid, and that's fantastic. And I sometimes look and think and say it wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're talking for 50, even 2000. I mean, I remember going into a place with a lesbian friend of mine in Plumstead. Now, that might have been my own, wrongdoing there. But anyway, we went in, fancied a drink, and the barman took one look at us and he was like, sorry, not in here. We sort of left, we knew what he meant. But that, we're not talking 1950, 1960.
No.
This is 2000. And even in the last 15 years, it's been astonishing how the tide has turned. And of course, that can only be a good thing. But I think the price we pay is for this, all-accepted freedom, is a lot of the young people that I speak to now, the young gay people, don't have no comprehension of what it was like back then. They have no comprehension of what it was like when gay places did used to pull the blinds down.
Well, can you just
7 o'clock?
Yeah, can you imagine
because, the people you'd never get that now. Little things like that you just accepted and got on with.
And just imagine what it was like before that, when there were no gay places. What did people do? How did you meet?
I know. Well, I mean, they did exist. They were underground, weren't they? They did exist. They were just.
I'll tell you how far we've come now. Shall I? I am where I live in Bracknell in Berkshire. If I go to the main shopping centre, I have to go. I usually go by bike. I cycle past a secondary school.
Yeah.
And I remember coming past there just a few months ago, last summer, and I'm cycling past and I timed it wrong, so they were all coming out. Now, this is a nightmare on a cycling path because they don't see a cycling path. They see a path to walk on.
Yeah,
and I thought, oh, no, I've timed this wrong. Anyway, so I put my foot down and tried to get over before these hordes of kids came out. And there I spotted, coming out of the school, two boys holding hands, and no one batted an eyelid. The friends were gathered around, the girls, the boys.
Yourself, because if you're anything like me, you look at it and think, God, how times have changed.
Yes. They were holding hands and no one batted an eyelid, and I carried on my bike and I thought, how nice is that?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I 100%. I mean, it's nothing to bat an eyelid now, and it's just the change has been phenomenal.
No,
I mean, I just remember when I used to have to go to, when I was going for job, you start a new job. I mean, I was trying to get into Fleet Street. I was trying to get into national newspaper media here. So you'd go into jobs on local papers and things, and you would dread the question of, so, are you married? Have you got a girlfriend? And so, because you just needed to know that you had to prove your worth first.
Yes.
At your job before you could let them into what could potentially ruin, could potentially derail your career. Well, of course, that doesn't exist anymore. I say it doesn't, it probably does on a very much low level. But now, you're protected heavily and you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just brilliant. It's just wonderful.
A little bit you didn't know. My dad used to work for the Evening Standard. He worked there for years and years and years, and that was in Fleet Street. The old Evening Standard there.
Yeah.
Have you got any more? Because you've been on This Morning as well. I saw you on there this morning. A little while back, was that? How far back was that?
I think that was not last summer, the summer before. Summer before. Yeah. I think. Okay, with Phil Schofield and the other one. Have you got anything else that you want to do now? Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm quite happy. I mean, I love what I do. I do love the world of tabloid media. I do a bit of TV. I do some stuff for television, Channel 5 and London Live and things like that very early in the morning, morning TV stuff. I don't know. I think what I'm trying to do, I've spent the last, 15, 20 years, grappling my way through Fleet Street and into doing what I'm doing now, which I'm actually very happy doing for a while. I might sort of like turn it down a notch, but just sort of enjoy the momentum for a bit.
You just said.
Of course, in terms of doing things, and you remember this about me, Chris, was in the early 90s when I was constantly pestering you to play Express Yourself and Vogue and things like that. I am obviously looking forward to Madonna this end of this year, Rebel Heart.
Right, yes, that's the new album, isn't it?
It's a new album, a new tour at the end of the year, so obviously that's going to be a big one for me. I'm thinking of maybe doing a couple of European cities, so...
Oh, wonderful. You've done so well. And just reminded me, I've spoken to you on Twitter a couple of times.
Yeah.
When is the last time I actually spoke to you?
I think it would have been...
Are we going back 20 years?
I think it possibly would have been around 2000 because I haven't really been... I haven't really been out, Chris, for the last 15 years. I think it would have even been 15 years ago. I popped into the Black Cat one evening, around 2000, because I went abroad to live for a couple of years and I came back and I sort of, had a look around. And it had changed a lot even then. Yeah. I think you mentioned to me then it had changed a lot, but that was the last time we spoke.
Yes, because the 70s and 80s night had become a pop R&B night, hadn't it, at that point?
I think so. I think so. It wasn't the bubblegum pop that I used to love anymore.
But that's just one of those things that everything has to keep moving along, otherwise...
Well, of course, it's a good thing, isn't it?
And I think that's
moving, and that's great.
I think that's what the new management tried to do. Jamie and George tried to move it along, and I think it succeeded in many ways. But they were beaten by whatever the reason is, and we're still, no one seems to know the absolute true reason. We don't know what that is yet.
It will emerge. Well, where are people going to go? Where next? What's next? I mean,
well, that's the question.
I was also devastated when the Gloucester closed in Greenwich.
Greenwich, yes.
That was another iconic, film, iconised in film.
Yeah.
And just overnight went there one day, and it was the Greenwich Bar and Grill or something. I thought this can't be right.
Shocking.
Isn't it Gloucester?
Well, you keep writing those wonderful front pages on the Express stories. You never know. I might appear one day with my little camera, and we'll have a chat.
Do just tap me up, Chris. I'm always happy to pop along and do a...
All right. Thanks ever so much, Nathan. Really appreciate it. Bye-bye now. There we are, Nathan Rayo from the Daily Express, boys and girls, one of the old customers of the Black Cap. And such a lovely person to talk to. He really is. He knows how to get a conversation going now, doesn't he? We were hoping to talk tonight to Adam, a.k.a. DJ Deben, on the phone today, but unfortunately he's been called out to... Do you know, I've got this new... He's been called out to his nan's. She's got a plumbing crisis. Do you know, I just felt something... This is a new shirt I've got on today. Can I just show you this? I've just felt something rubbing on me. And I haven't taken the spare... Are you supposed to take the spare buttons off or something? I can't go around with these buttons rubbing against my side all the time. Let me just cut these off. Oh, dear me. I can't have those buttons rubbing against me all the time. Sometimes the label rubs against you as well, doesn't it? Would anyone like to win these buttons that have been attached to my flesh? Just send in an email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Alright, finally today, you've heard... we've done so long today, haven't we? You've heard Regina Fong mentioned by many of our callers over on the last two shows, the one on Wednesday night and the one today as well. While I was in my Black Cat period, she was for a very, very long time, the face of the Black Cat, boys and girls. And I've managed to dig out an old finale. Now, I think this is 1996, 1997 sort of time. Okay. Oh, Wendy says, can you put your belly away? Sorry, Wendy, I was showing you the buttons, not anything else, darling. All right. I think this is 1996, sort of 1997 time. And in it, you'll see two of our ex-managers, Jimmy Smith, who we spoke to at the beginning of the show today, and also someone we call Little Rob Jones, who managed the pub for a period after Jimmy Smith on the stage there. I'm not actually sure who else is in the video. I can't quite, because before I play it out, it's only very small. So have a little watch of this. This is one of the Regina Fong finales from Tuesday night. Enjoy this, all right?
The finale. The finale. Do it. Just do it. Here we go.
I've lost him, but I don't know how. He's going with another now. He'll be at the party on Friday night. I'd go there myself, but it wouldn't be right. But if you see him there, please tell him that I care and I want him back again. Tell him that and then tell me what he said. Just take him to his side. Tell him how much I cried and I'm begging on my knees. Tell him that and please tell me what he said. If I hurt him, I'm sorry. Please tell him that I love him. No matter what the trouble may be, we can talk it over. I've never been so blue. I wait right here for you, and I don't know if I should cry, if I should live or die when you tell me what he said. I've lost him, but I don't know how. He's going with another now. But if you see him there, please tell him that I care and I want him back again. Tell him that and then tell me what he said. Just take him to his side. Tell him how much I cried and I'm begging on my knees. Tell him that please tell me what he said. If I hurt him, I'm sorry. Please tell him that I love him. No matter what the trouble may be, we can talk it over. I've never been so blue. I wait right here for you, then I know if I should cry, if I should live or die. When you tell me what he said, when you tell me what he said, when you tell me what he said.
There we are. That's one of the finales there. Now, is that me at the back? I'm not sure if that's me at the back there or not. I can't quite tell. Is that me at the back there? Let me just wind that back a little bit. And I can tell you who's on the stage there, actually. Let's just... Okay, so on the left, we've got an artist known... that looks like Sade there. Next to her is Titi LeCamp. At the back there, Regina Fong. In the middle, the shorter lad, that's Little Rob. Jimmy's just behind him there. The tall person on the right there is Sandra. Just behind her is Millie Turner. And on the end there, I can't quite see who that is on the end there. Let's move that forward. Is that Nikki Vixen? I'm not quite sure. I think it... Oh, yes, that's Nikki Vic. No, that's Regina. 1 minute. Oh, I can't quite see that. They'd kill me, wouldn't they? Unfortunately, the picture I see, actually, I might be able to make it bigger. The picture I see is not the same as you see, because mine is a lot smaller on there. Let's try that one there. Let's see if I can pull that open a bit, see it a bit better. No, I can't see it any better there. But there, you get the general idea. That was one of the Vagina Thong finales there. Anyway, that's it today. Thank you very much for watching and listening, boys and girls. Don't forget, you can still send in an email. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The main website for this show is unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. There you'll find all the short shows and the long shows. Once they've gone out, they go back up there as a recording, and you can watch them anytime. Or if you just fancy listening to one of the long shows instead of watching it as well, you can find those where it says audio only. Okay, you can subscribe on iTunes as well. If you've got iTunes, just type into the podcast United Kingdom Talk. You'll find it there. Subscribe there, completely free of charge. Okay, tonight, Saturday night, 18th of April, I'll be DJing at the City of Quebec in central London, around the Marble Arch area. That's between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. I hope you've enjoyed these two very special shows. Next short video is on Tuesday night. You have a lovely Saturday. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye bye now.